the audacious Dutchman.
Cool. How you going?
Oh, great.
Going good. That's
Going
good.
Now I've got my second coffee.
Second coffee.
Slowly waking up.
This is my second coffee as well. Oh, this actually doesn't taste so great this morning. It's Common Folk. So I made myself a coffee this morning, and then we went to Common Folk to get the second coffee. It's not tasting great though. Kind of tastes burnt.
Ooh. So that's not the coffee that you made?
No.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. No, that's the Common Folk coffee. Anyway, doesn't matter. You can't win them all.
Win some, lose most.
Yeah,
as
no.
I always say.
You actually got me into coffee.
Did I?
Yeah, I was not interested in coffee.
Really?
And you got me into coffee. Yeah.
It's a bit of a dangerous spiral, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Have you ever tried not going...
Yes.
Like, have you ever tried going without coffee?
Yeah, I was actually fine. So it's an interesting one.
Really?
Yeah, I was fine. No headaches, no withdrawals. You which?
I died.
You died. How long did you try?
Well, no, there was like a little phase. I was like, you know what? Maybe I could be a tea person.
Yeah.
No. So I started, it's like you have such physical withdrawal symptoms. It's nuts. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had to like talk to someone and be like, is this normal?
Mm-hmm.
It was just like insane migraines.
Yeah.
And then it would be like days on end, and then your body gets used to it.
Fuck.
No, you had none of that.
I had none of that. So I don't actually think I'm addicted to the caffeine. I've thought about this a little bit. I think what I'm addicted to specifically is doing something for myself. The reward system of getting up in the morning. So I had a guy on the podcast and we talked about this. He was suggesting to me that a lot of the time the reason it's a bit loose because it's on timber.
Oh.
So originally it was on the desk, and I had the problem is the mic was like up here, and it was blocking this camera from the guest. Well, I was actually fine there, but I couldn't see you. I'd be looking at this.
Yeah, that's...
So I changed it. But now it's loose. So I think I need to put a bracket in there to just keep it.
Oh, that's fine. I was just trying to get comfortable.
It's fine. It won't break.
I was sitting like this and I'm like...
Yeah. No,
I'm
get
doing
comfortable.
this to myself.
Get comfortable. Like, whatever works for you. Like, relax. If you need to move the chair, whatever works for you. What were we talking about? We were talking about coffee and then something.
I think this is going to happen
Withdrawals.
a lot.
Withdrawals.
Withdrawals.
So the withdrawals. Sean. So I had Sean on, and he was suggesting to me that people actually... some people are addicted to coffee. Some people need the coffee. And some people actually just need to reward themselves. And it was a very interesting conversation. I worked out I did the same thing with alcohol. So I use alcohol as a treat and a reward. So I'm off alcohol as of the first of the month, which was I didn't set out. Thanks.
That is a big congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't set out for it to be a New Year's resolution necessarily, just by virtue of. So I filmed a podcast on New Year's Day. And if you go back and watch that, I am the most hungover I've ever been in my life. I stopped halfway to leave to vomit. Literally, that was disgusting.
Delicious.
So I use alcohol as a reward system, and I use coffee as a reward system, and I've worked out I do it with a lot of stuff. Food as well. I'll use it as like, this is my time, this is my reward. So I hyper indulge. So New Year's Eve, what happened was I was having like a pretty steady one, just had a couple of beers, not a problem at all. And now 11:30, Mon went to bed, and I don't know what happened. I was a little bit lit, so I was like not in a great frame of mind. But I sat next to the fire and drank 2 bottles of wine in 1 hour. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't know. Anyway, I felt so bad the next day, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time to put the fucking bottle down. So, I've been off for a week. But no, I'm the same with coffee. I use it as a reward system more so than actually requiring the caffeine. But you actually went through withdrawals?
Yeah, actually went through withdrawals, and it wasn't until it's kind of funny. Like, it wasn't until I was, I'd adapted. I was doing a little bit of a tea situation, but then I kind of switched, and I was like, life is too short. Like, why am I depriving myself of something I enjoy? So the reason why I got back into it is because it was this little reward that I used to wake up and look forward to. So that was kind of like, it was part of my morning routine, and it was just part of what made me happy and got me ready to like take on the day. So it was kind of like, I was like, this is good and all, but like, I actually realized, I was like, I freaking love coffee.
It's good.
And even at where I'm working now, before I started working there, I'm not really sure what the go was, but I think maybe one or two would used to just go out and get a coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I unintentionally started a bit of a coffee club.
Fuck, really?
And it was so good. It was like, you know, it's hard when you've got two completely different age brackets in the office, and it was just kind of us, like a couple of young ones, like they're all pretty quiet, but we would just kind of like gradually went into this little like, oh, it's 10 a.m. let's go to the coffee shop around the corner. And it actually became something like a routine, and some of the leaders recognized it, and they were kind of like, they would joke about it. But one of them actually came up to me and was like, Ebony, I think that's actually such a good thing. And I was like, I completely agree. Because it was boosting the staff morale at the end of the day. And like talking to people, they're like, oh, you know, this is the only reason why I came into the office today. Because, you know, everyone's used to working from home.
Yeah.
So it was that little moment in the day that like everyone looked forward to. And I love that. And it was like, you know, we don't do, you know, post-COVID, it's like we don't do Friday drinks at work anymore.
No.
That's not a thing.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah. But we do coffee club.
Yeah. No.
So, yeah, I think it's, you know.
Man, isn't it interesting how we use things like coffee and alcohol and food as a communal thing? Like, you wouldn't just, it would be weird if I said to you, hey, do you just want to go and stand in the park? That would be weird, yeah. But if I said, hey, do you want to grab a coffee? Go for a walk?
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, definitely.
100%.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
is.
And it's a bit of an icebreaker too. Like, it makes it less awkward.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Because you've got that commonality, you know, like it was a bit hard to break the ice at first, but, you know, you talk about work. You
Absolutely.
talk about coffee.
Yeah.
And that is enough
Absolutely.
for the 15-minute little outing.
100%.
And it's good.
100%.
And then you go back into the office and you don't say a word to anyone the rest of the day.
But if you have a commonality like coffee with someone as well, it can spark a whole friendship.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like, it's just enough that you can have something to talk about for the first 10 minutes of meeting someone.
Yeah,
And
like
the
what
ice
we're
is
doing
broken.
right now.
Absolutely. Well, we've been on for 9 minutes talking
How
about
do you
coffee
see
now.
that? Oh,
See the
yeah.
bottom right where it says rec?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just talking about coffee, and it's such a good way to lead into other things like, how do you make coffee while you camp?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I have this, I wouldn't call it a sponsorship, but I have this little deal with this brand who I used to buy their coffee beforehand, and then I kind of got to a point where I
Can you name them or not?
Yeah, Grounder Drops.
Yeah, okay.
And like I just loved, I don't even know where I saw it. Oh, I think I got like a sample one day. Not from their brand, but a different brand. And it's like, I don't know if you've seen them before. It's like a little like filter bag with little paper. I'm going to butcher this by trying to explain.
I'm going to Google it. Grounded Drop.
Or even drip coffee bags. Just so we can keep it general.
Coffee bags. Good news is the laptop is playing ball again. The mouse is... Oh, it's a little bit glitchy, but...
Yeah. So it's...
Is it like a V60 concept?
Yeah.
Okay. So you buy that, rip the top off it, jam it in your cup, and then pour hot water on it. That's cool.
So freaking cool. Because, you know, you can use an AeroPress or people use instant coffee, each to their own.
I know, right? Anytime you drink instant coffee, you have to think about it like it's a different product, I've decided. It's not coffee, it's something else.
It's a little something.
You can't compare it to coffee. You have to compare it to, like... It's something else.
Yeah, it doesn't, I don't know.
It's like gluten-free bread is not bread.
Yeah.
It's something else.
It's a different class of, like, product. But yeah, I use these camping. So handy. And it's like, it's so easy. And like when you're camping in the morning, you're a bit groggy. It's, you know, it could be freezing cold. And you're like, I just need something to warm me up. I don't want to spend 10 minutes heating up water, doing the AeroPress things to get my coffee. Like, I will be frozen.
Especially if you had 2 bottles of wine by the fire the night before.
Oh, yeah. It's just, like, so easy. And it's, it just tastes so good. And because I'm so particular with my coffee, it's got to be good. Like, I can't just drink normal black coffee. Like, it's got to be good.
Absolutely.
So that, it's just, I freaking love it. Not everyone loves it, though. And some people, you know, they have the setups where they have their coffee machines.
Yes. Man,
It's wild.
I've seen that. I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen some of that going on. I saw a Ram TRX build the other day, which is the Dodge. Yeah. And the guy had like a full coffee machine in the back.
Yeah, it's wild.
Coffee machine.
It's real, like, luxury living.
Nah, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to find it from that shitty Google search. Anyway, it was
Oh,
incredible.
no, just do coffee machine in a canopy or something. Canopy setup.
Canopy set up. I'm no Jamie
Yeah.
Vernon.
There we go.
That's a whole business. That's not really what I'm looking for. I think it's... Oh, the mouse is like carked itself. It's going to be a long podcast if we're Googling stuff. That's not really what I was thinking.
Oh, what were you thinking?
It's close though. I think this sort of thing. The little Breville
Yeah.
fella.
Yeah, they'll have the
That's
whole...
actually a sick setup with the induction. What do you think of induction? Have you used it while camping yet?
No, I haven't used it. We don't have it. I think, in theory, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
There's lots of different opinions about it.
Yeah.
I haven't used it, but I've heard good things. But also, I think I can totally see the benefit in it.
I run this at the moment.
Is that a little cheeky gas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's similar to what we have at the moment.
Ooh.
I mean, personally, when I just go away by myself, I've just got like the cheap $20.
So
Okay.
I had a really cheap one for a while and it was great, and then it broke, and I was going camping so frequently. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna spend $300
Treat
bucks
yourself.
on one, and I got this, and it was the worst thing I own.
Really?
It is fucking terrible. I'm gonna name and shame. The Coleman Gladiator is the worst camp cooker in the fucking world. Do not get one. I'll tell you the reason why. Because there's no control on the burner. So it's either on...
What do you mean?
It's either on max, like if you have a non-stick pan, it's not non-stick by the end of the cook. That's how hot it gets. Or freezing. Like there's no middle.
Yeah.
There's no temperature control on it, which I would have expected from a $300 cooker.
You got
Looks
stitched
great.
up.
Like it looks great, yeah.
It looks like
looks
you're like, yeah, let me
robust.
just
It's-
cook you a meal.
Look, it's nice and thick. It's like a whole thing. It's a double burner. It's really cool, but it's terrible. As a product, it's a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, we just keep it basic.
We name and shame on this show. Sometimes basic is good. Look, sometimes, especially with fall driving stuff, I'm sure you can agree with this. Poor men do pay twice, meaning like if you buy a shit thing,
100%.
and I've cheaped out on a lot of stuff that's turned out bad. But there are some times where like the inexpensive item is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, but also like using this as an example, when I was just starting out a year or two ago, my concept of time is out the door. So whenever I say a year or two,
Could be 2 years.
it could be 1 month
Yeah.
to 3 years in that kind of time frame.
I'm the same.
Yeah. So like I bought a King's air compressor.
Yep.
Because I was like, there's no point me going out and spending hundreds of dollars on something that I'm not even
ARB.
sure if I'm going to
Yep.
use.
Yeah.
And anyway, it turns out I used it a lot.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I used it a fair bit. And then classic stitcher, a month out of warranty, it broke. But
Yep.
by that time, I was like, no, I know I definitely need to invest in a good one. But I think the really important thing is, like, a lot of people do talk shit about Kings because of its, ability to break. But I agree. I see the point, but I also disagree as well. It's like, I'm sorry, but not everyone has an access to a few $100,000 to
dude.
spend on ARB. Like, it's a price bracket. If people want to go out and camp, let them do that. And I think it is, how am I trying to say? I think it is like important to acknowledge that there is a lot of waste being generated in this process. I 100%, things should be built to last. But in today's day and age, like we don't have good quality, cheap products. Like it's not really possible.
No.
But yeah, so I think it's a point of like accessibility.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I think the good thing about Kings is it provides, for a lot of people, Kings is the difference, and not just Kings, everyone, is the difference. Any of those cheaper brands. If you're not a camper, Adventure Kings is notorious for having really inexpensive items as gateway drugs into the industry. But for a lot of people, it's the difference between not going camping and camping.
Oh, 100%.
Because, like, I kitted out the back of my Hilux using Adventure King stuff because I didn't want to spend... And there are people, seriously, that'll spend 20 grand on the back of their ute.
More.
But yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. How much
Yeah.
do you think? Like so if you're at Fraser Island and you saw like a Ram TRX with a canopy on the back, guess how much like if someone just threw the whole fucking ARB catalog at it, what do you reckon? 50?
Yeah, I don't even know. More than 25. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, that's just madness. No,
Yeah.
so I picked up my tray for $300, resprayed it. You saw it, it looks like shit.
Yeah.
And the canopy was probably about that, $300. I resprayed the whole lot with Raptor coating, and that was $150, $200. And then I threw the whole Adventure Kings catalog at the back of it. I reckon I got in and out of that for $4,000 for the whole back of that.
Yeah. And the question is, do you use it?
Not anymore because the car doesn't
Okay,
run
wait,
very
okay,
well,
wait,
but
wait.
I used to.
Did you use it?
Yeah, I did.
And
Yep.
also, did you have fun?
Absolutely. We had a lot of fun mucking around in the back of that car. And it got us out. And if I'd had to have bought ARB expensive stuff, I wouldn't have bought ARB expensive stuff. And I probably would have just bought a swag, and that would have meant my wife wouldn't have come. Because she expects a certain level.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people out there, especially if you have families. Like, when you're 18, it's all very well and good to have, like, a butane burner, a 24-pack of sausages, and a bottle of sauce.
That's
and a
still me
swag.
today.
Yeah. Absolutely. But, like, as you get older and you got, like, a kid and you get married and stuff like that, people kind of want some of the creature comforts.
Oh, 100%.
But don't necessarily have that $50,000. So, no, it is a good way into the industry.
What do you mean you don't have $50,000?
I know, right? I know.
You should only be buying
Correct.
ARB.
Correct.
Yeah, but it is, and I think it's actually quite a common theme in the community at the moment is, you know, a lot of the major, I'm just going to call it, four-wheel drive influencers.
Yep.
Which this is a topic we should totally delve into.
We can do it now.
I had no
Yeah.
idea that was a thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of four-wheel drive influencers are just splashing all this cash onto all these rigs, and it's kind of becoming a little bit too far removed. Like,
Yep.
people are watching and be like, this is totally unachievable for me in my lifetime.
Yep.
That there is, like, starting to become a little bit of a disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas, you know, when they bring on, like, there was a really great episode recently where they've got, you know, a good touring setup, and then they have this, like, old little Suzuki Vitara stock as a rock, and they take it in the
which
high
channel?
country. Four-wheel drive 24/7.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot of opinions about that. And I just thought it was awesome. It
Mm.
was like they're taking, but the driver, I'm pretty sure his name's Jesse. Yeah. Was it
Yeah,
Jesse?
the new
Jesse.
guy? Yeah, Jesse.
Yeah, he knows how to drive.
Yeah.
Like, he knows
He's a winch
what
truck
he's doing.
driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he started off, like, in something similar when he was,
No, he started
growing
off
up.
on lawnmowers.
Oh, actually,
Yeah, he started off when he was like
Thanks for correcting.
when he was 4 years old. He used
Yeah.
to do like lawnmowers on the he would literally full drive in ride on lawnmowers.
Yeah.
On it. But you're right. Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
did the whole Zook thing, and now he's in the Nissan scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So it's like the fact that I freaking love that episode. One, because it was a Zook, stock as a rock, going on in the Vic High country. And two, because Liv was on it from Performance Touring, and Liv, This Is Livin'. And, yeah, the girls.
Yeah, right.
It's like
I don't know. I haven't seen the episode.
oh, you should totally watch it.
Yeah.
But that was like my two favorite things, because it was like, you know, they have all this money to spend. I mean, not all the money in the world, but, you know, being able to bring something like that on, it's like you can totally do it within reason.
Yep.
You got to be experienced.
Mm-hmm.
But it's totally possible.
Mm.
And the other favorite thing was, you know, Liv being on it as well, because there's still that kind of gap of
Yep. Yep.
females in that
No, that's
kind
cool.
of industry. But
That's cool. So you're doing the whole Zook thing at the moment, aren't you? So when I say the whole Zook thing, you've got a Jimny, which is the current shape of Jimny they've been making those cars since the late 70s, early 80s now. Obviously, they update them every 10 years. But I guess the thing that fascinates me about the whole Suzuki Jimny scene is, to your point about the Adventure Kings thing, is it brings the whole sport to a whole new audience of people. Because now, if the Jimny didn't exist, I honestly think the cheapest way to buy a new car and get into full driving is get a dual cab ute for $45,000, which is a lot of cheddar.
Yeah.
These Jimnys are significantly cheaper than that, and
100%.
they're so cool. They're really, really cool. So why did you do the Jimny thing?
So I was kind of umming and ahhing, just doing my own like research on four-wheel drives when it kind of got to a point where I was like, you know, I was going out with mates and we were having a good time, and I was like, I really want to be able to do this for myself and not have to, I guess, rely on other people to be able to do this kind of stuff. Like it kind of got to a point I was like, I've realized how this is the lifestyle I want. I want to be able to make it happen like on my own terms. And like there are definitely people that buy the Suzuki Jimny because they just love it as a car. Whereas for me, it was a matter of ticking boxes. It was a matter of like, okay, what do I need? What do I want? And like, how am I going to get there? So for me, it was, a relatively cheap four-wheel drive to get into it.
Yep.
Was the first point.
Yep.
And the second point was, I want to be able to learn, but I don't have I didn't have the time and the resources to be able to like build my own.
Yep.
Like four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to have just buy like an older one and just like rebuild it or kind of work on it. Like I didn't have those mechanical skills, and I know some people do that, and that's awesome. Like all credit to you. But as a corporate girly, I was just a bit like
You wanted to be in it, not under it.
Yeah.
Me
That's a choice.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
And that's a lifestyle choice, and I don't think
Yeah.
anyone should be shamed of that, which
Nah.
some people do. But
Is it really?
yeah, it's live your best life.
Yeah.
Like, who cares what everyone else is
But
doing?
is that in the scene? Is it like people who buy everything and get it done by someone else are less good than
Yeah.
people who like built not bought?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that real?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
right.
100% a real thing. And, like, just you do you, boo.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
and so for me, it was a matter of, okay, it's already set up. I can go take it on the tracks. I can learn how to four-wheel drive. But also, yeah, and the price point was really good. And also, like, I just loved the vibe of it. And I was like, I think this is really cool. So that was also a point. But the main point was functionality and how I was going to use it and
Yep.
how I was going to learn. So that was what drew me to the Jimny. And I bought it secondhand.
Yep.
So it already had like bull bar, roof rack, sliders.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
That can be a bit sketchy though. If you buy one that's kitted out, you got to ask yourself, has it copped salt water? Like, is it wrecked? Has it been thrashed? It's like when you buy a performance car that's got 65,000 Ks on it. It's like, has this been driven?
Yeah, but I'll give you a little secret insider.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't take the Jimnys
Yes.
off-road.
Yes. Yes.
And they kid it
Pavement
out.
princess.
Like, it's
Yeah.
so bloody funny. Like,
Yeah.
seeing the amount of Jimny ads that are like, it's got like the bull bar, it's got the roof rack, and then they start the ad with like, this is a little bit embarrassing, but it's never been off-road.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like that shouldn't be embarrassing. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? But yeah, it was in like really great condition. Like, it was 2020. Like, it really hadn't done that many Ks. And, but the one thing was, it was manual. And, I didn't know how to drive manual. So I had my mate who was on his red peas do the test drive. And even like when we went there to have a look, I was like, are you legally allowed to test drive a car on your P's?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was fine. He took it for a test drive, and I was sitting in the passenger seat, and I was like, done. Love it. But, yeah. Oh,
I just remembered something.
what did you remember?
I gave you one manual lesson once.
That's
I'm
it.
trying to get the photo up. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull this off. Damn it.
And I honestly think that moment was like, gave me the confidence to be like, yeah, I'll learn how to drive manual.
Oh, opening contacts. We might have a win here. Edit, maybe?
I think it was like on my old phone, so I can't even dig up the photo. I can picture it now.
I don't think we're going to win here.
Yeah, damn.
Anyway, I'll try my best. So,
You do that.
we got
I'm gonna
there.
keep
Cool.
sipping on my
I
coffee.
hit 4 a couple of times. So yeah, I taught you how to. I taught you once how to drive manual, and one of the first things you did, I don't know if you can see from this picture, audience, is a fat skid. I'll zoom in. Look at that.
I remember that vividly.
Look at that. That's a big skid too. Yeah. Anyway.
I think maybe that's why it motivated me.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
yeah.
Manual is good fun though.
It was so much fun. And
Yeah.
like it was, I kind of, I was like, I want the ivory Jimny. I had my standards high.
That's
I was
the
like,
colour.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And for me, it was so important to have like the gear already on it.
Yep.
Because one, time and money, and technically, like, because I took out a loan for it.
Yep.
So it was like part of the loan.
Absolutely.
So that was another
Man,
thing.
that's something that people miss so often. Is like my brother just got a Ranger, brand new Ranger Wild.
Danger.
Yeah, I know, right? You got a. We're gonna come back to that. I've never heard that before. I think I know what that means. We'll come back to that in a minute. But he's now doing all the mods on top of his brand new Ranger, and it's like, okay, so the snorkel's like going to be $3,000 or whatever it is. You have to give someone $3,000 rather than paying $3,000 off over 5 years. But the interest, it's like, yeah, but cash flow. Cash flow is like real, and nobody ever talks about like the time value of money up against interest. And like when you look at $3,000 over 5 years, that's $780 a year divided by 52. That's like, I'm terrible at maths, but surely that's $12 a week.
We need like that mean with all the
Yeah.
the calculators.
Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, and it's kind of funny because like I was always like during COVID, I went full finance podcast mode, like listening, and I was like, no, I'm gonna run my trusty Mazda 3 to the ground. I'm not gonna take out a loan.
And it died next week.
No, it kept
okay.
going.
Okay.
The Mazda, like,
Yeah.
If I had it now, I kind of like wish I didn't trade it in, but no, I needed the money at the time.
Yeah.
And like it never died on me.
Yeah.
It was so good, and it probably could have been just kicking on.
Yep.
I think I never had any issues with it.
Yeah.
But the Jimny has been in the mechanics more than I can count on one hand.
Really? Because you drive it off road, or because it's not reliable?
Because I drive it off road.
Okay. Yeah. So ship braking on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what? Are you warm?
Yeah.
I'm gonna open this window. I'm warm.
I'm like sweating.
Yeah. Okay. I'm getting warm, so I'll open this window. What's broken on it though?
Oh well, it's mainly just like I'm trying to think of what. Nothing's broken at the moment. It's more just today. It's more just wear and tear.
Yep.
And I think it's also got to do with, how I take it off road, but also, that is prime airflow.
Bit of airflow. Your iPhone storage is full.
Oh, you.
Not kidding. Do you want this?
Sure. Oh, it's not going to do anything else now, is it?
There you are.
Sick.
We love that.
We love that.
Story of my
I wonder
life.
how many minutes it got in.
Well, we've been going for 30 minutes now, bro.
Have we?
Yeah.
I feel like we've got plenty. Like I got the
Yeah.
coffee chat down there.
Nice. Yeah.
I don't even know what we're up to.
We're talking about all the shit broken on your
Oh
car.
yeah, it's just general like wear and tear, and
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, for what I use it for, it wasn't exactly designed for.
Yeah.
Like it was designed to go off road, but it wasn't designed to do the shit
That
that
hard.
I take it up.
What are you doing? Like, where are you going?
Just a lot of. I mean,
Did you do blue rag, or was that someone else?
Oh no, I did not in my car, but did that the other day.
Okay.
But want to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of high country, and then as soon as you bring mud into the equation, mud equals money.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a lot of wear and tear, which is like what I signed up for anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just how I use it. If
Is
I
it
was running
just-
it on the road, it would be fine.
So
But I
mud
don't do
equals
it.
money. Is that because it fucks electrical shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like things go wrong. Like,
Mm.
but yeah, it's just general wear and tear. It's like, you know, it's not designed to like
Cop that level of
cop
punishment.
that much like
Yeah.
pressure
Yeah.
on it. But it's still fun. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good.
Ranger danger. What does that mean?
Oh,
Is that because they blow up?
that's all I have to say.
Oh, really?
I wish I had some deeper
Oh,
level meaning
okay.
to it.
Is it a thing? Like, is it?
I don't
something
know.
that most people say?
I just heard it from one person, and then I was like, "That's sick."
Okay, right.
But I mean, Ranger drivers are something else.
I have one.
Yeah. Well, that explains a lot.
Well,
Andrew.
yes. I never liked them. I hated the Rangers for a really long time. And then I was using Bruce as a work car, and it just kept breaking. And it would cost me so much money in lost income and repairs. I need something new. I took the new Hilux out and I hated it. Worst car I've ever driven in my life. Terrible, terrible, terrible car. It's out of date inside. It's slow. It's noisy. I think it's ugly on the outside. It was uncomfortable. The infotainment system broke on the test drive. Wouldn't work. Wouldn't connect to my phone. The sat nav froze. The whole system broke. This is in a half an hour window. I went, I can't buy one of these.
No. So
what am I going to do?
A lot
I
of
don't
green
wanna...
flags. It sounds.
Yeah,
like.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want a Triton. I hated that as well. And then I drove this, and it felt like a car. Great engine. Have you seen inside the new Ranger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's nuts.
They're nice now.
Okay, maybe I should clarify what I mean.
No. Ford
Ranger
drivers in general are
Ranger drivers that are towing jet skis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Raptor owners. Speaking of which, I test drove one of those yesterday.
Oh, spicy.
It was a bit underwhelming.
Oh.
Unfortunately. So, interior. I'm going to hand this car off to a staff member. I don't know why this button stopped working now.
I reckon that whole like little front cab section is bigger than the Jimny itself.
I reckon I'll be honest, they are a big car.
You know, I have to like. Obviously, now that I drive a manual, the person sitting next to me, if they are just sitting there normally, I'm talking just like normally a man because they're a little bit.
Do you touch their knee?
Yeah, I'm like, move your leg. I can't change gears.
Yeah, no, I get it. I drove one with a friend. A friend was looking at getting one, and yeah, she was touching my knee every time she was to change gear.
I'm like,
yeah,
move out of the way.
Yeah, crazy.
I can't get into gear.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's a lifestyle choice. Like some people ask me, oh, like, would you recommend the Jimny? And I just am really honest about it. I'm like, look, I commute to work every day. The way that I've set my car up, I wouldn't be using it as a daily.
Yep.
And it's my weekender car.
Yep.
But that's how I've set it up as well. So it's more just for the weekend.
What does
camp
that mean
trips.
for those people who have never driven like a big four-wheel drive? Well, it's not big, but like a car set up for touring. How does it differ? Like, why is it annoying? Day to day, give me an example.
Oh, it's driving a box into wind feels shit.
Yeah, right.
Like, to put it simply,
it
like,
feels
it's
unsafe.
Yeah, it literally feels unsafe because it's so lightweight. I mean, mine's on the heavier side.
Yeah, okay.
She actually needs to lose weight.
Oh, does she?
That's fine.
Are you a bit worried about going through a weighbridge? Would you get through a weighbridge? Is it over GVM? Okay. Never mind. We didn't ask the question.
No.
Never mind. You're all good. Don't stress.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and like I'm running bigger wheels, steel rims, like it's heavy.
Yeah.
And it's heavy, but it's also lightweight, so it just gets thrown around, especially if trucks are passing.
Bit of wind. Yeah, right.
With the Jimneys, because it's a little box, a little lightweight box floating along the road.
Yeah.
You really have to concentrate on driving. Like, you can't, it's not cruisy. You have to frickin' concentrate.
Yeah.
Like, any slight, like, you're just always, you know, like, putting your, oh, what are you looking at? Block it.
You can keep talking.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just, there's a scene that I'm trying to find
Oh, okay.
that, like, embodies it perfectly.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really fun to drive, but honestly, sometimes it's like I would just love to be able to. I mean, obviously you got to concentrate on the road, but this you have to like micro concentrate.
Got you.
Yeah. But it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm going to see if my computer will play ball here. It's
Alright.
really not loving it, though.
Heaters are, not their best feature, if I'm honest. That's on full. I can't feel it at all.
In the Leaning Tower of Citroën, I was starting to relax a bit.
She's very pretty. She just liked it. She wouldn't like to go in Hammonds because that's stupid.
That is my reaction.
Jeremy,
That's my reaction every single time.
Entertainment I've had on a road journey in my whole life. It's absolutely hilarious.
Anyway, so for those of you just listening, Jeremy has a triple-story block of flats on top of an old Citroen. They build their own camper vans, and anytime a truck goes past, he's like, ah! Anyway, so that's what it's like.
That is a very accurate representation
Yeah.
of what it feels like to drive a Jimny.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's a bit better with that open, isn't it?
Oh,
A bit
yeah,
more
I
of a
can
breeze.
breathe.
I know, right? That is definitely the problem with this sort of setup is it gets real hot. Man, we did one. I did one. Did you ever meet my friend Tully?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, did one with him. So he went on Idol, Oz Idol.
Oh,
He was a
yeah, I
contestant on
listened
Oz
to
Idol.
that.
Yeah. And afterwards he came and did a spot here, and it was fucking hot that day. And it had been like 38 degrees that day, and this place cooked. So, but it was still warm outside. So we had all the doors open, and it's late at night. It's like 9 o'clock, and there's just mosquitoes everywhere.
Oh.
It was not pleasant. Anyway, yeah, man, it does get hot out here.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you doing? So you're at the moment, you're actually having some pretty good success building some content on social media. I was trying to think of the
Yeah.
word. You're doing some social media stuff. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it started off as like what people people So people tell me that it's my my car account, but it actually started as more of like a general adventure
Sure.
account.
Yep.
So it kind of was, I was just doing my thing for a little bit anyway.
Yep.
And
Pre-car.
yeah, pre-car, but it was me going out with my other mates.
Yep.
And that was like where some of the traction actually started.
Okay.
Before the Jimny came into the picture. And then, yeah, got the Jimny and then just started doing little trips with it. And I think one thing was, like, I just kind of did my little, like, I've worked in marketing for a few years, so I just, like, did little simple tricks, which aren't, like, revolutionary. It's
Understood.
just basic.
Yeah.
Like, you know, tagging brands, and then if they engage with me back, then I'll be like, cool, I'm just going to keep engaged with them. If they don't, then I'll just like, cool, won't tag them next time. So just did little things here and there.
When you say that, did you like out of context tag them, or would you reference Max Tracks in one of your videos and then tag Max Tracks?
So like if I had a piece of equipment, say like a King swag,
Yep.
I would tag like 4-wheel drive super Center or
Clever.
something like that. Yeah.
Clever.
That
so you
kind
weren't
of
just
thing.
like tagging everyone.
No.
You weren't like, I'm using Max Track, so I'll tag Adventure Kings. Like it was purposeful.
Yeah, it was all purposeful. Like
Yep.
if it wasn't in there,
Yep.
I wouldn't tag them.
Clever.
Yeah, so there was like little things I did here and there, and then like people, like some people just love the Jimnys, and they're like, oh, that's so cool, that's my dream car. Or people like started asking questions when I started doing bigger mods, like the wheels and rims was a big one, because it looks like a beefed up Jimny now.
Looks cool.
Yeah, I love it.
I'll get a
Couldn't
pic up
go
of
any
it.
bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was like, you know, it just kind of naturally grew, and I kind of didn't really, like it was like everything I did was intentional, but you know, I was never like, oh, one day I'm going to get sponsored.
Yeah.
Like I just did it just for fun. And because I love media, I love camping, so it was just like a really good combo of both of my passions.
That's cool.
And then it really kind of kicked off when I was just making TikTok videos. So not to be dramatic at all, but TikTok literally changed my life. Like it's, but not the way you would think. It wasn't me going viral.
Yep.
It was me connecting with other people. Like, this was during even, like, COVID times. It was like I was just posting videos and, like, people would message... Oh, I mean people. I mean, like, maybe 2 people. But to me, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Would message and be like, hey, like, you look like you go on some cool adventures.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking... Like, I kind of want to meet other people like that. And I was like, yeah, cool. Me being me. Yeah, of course I'll meet up with strangers on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Did
some
any go
people...
south? Did any go south? Like, were
No.
you robbed or anything?
No,
That was all cool?
no. It was all like I feel like I'd hope to say like I have a okay average like judge of character.
Sure,
Like it wasn't,
Yeah.
it wasn't as dramatic as that. But and that kind of really changed the trajectory of meeting new people, like that have the same interest.
Yep.
Because I never really had that growing up.
Yep.
And even like to kind of, I know this is kind of backtracking, but I feel like this is a really important part of the story. So 15 or 19-year-old Ebony, see, that's a very vague range.
Sure.
But 15 to 19-year-old Ebony had a little journaling day.
Yep.
Dear diary.
Yeah.
And I wrote, I just wish I had friends. And then the next line was, I wish I had friends that I could go on adventures outdoors with.
That's cool.
So fast forward a few years, starting to meet new people, go on this journey of, this is pre-Jimny.
Yeah.
Meeting new people that go camping with, and, there definitely was a little section where it was not fun.
Yep.
And I didn't really know anyone else, so I kind of just kept going with the same people, and it was really toxic.
Really?
I was really not in a good place anyway.
Sure.
So it was like a lot of alcohol, a lot of drug abuse.
Yep.
Sorry, mum and dad, if you're listening. But yeah, so it actually wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
I just want to be completely real. Like it was not
That's cool.
an easy
I like
journey.
that. Yeah.
And
What got you out of it?
it was... That's actually a great question.
I know. It's like I do a podcast.
That's wild. It's like you've done this before. What did get me out of it? I think it was finally having that peace or that ability to do it by myself.
Fuck yeah.
And that really was the turning point for me.
Yeah.
And be able to do it on my own terms and meet people that I connect with. So that was really, it was kind of funny. Like looking back of it now, I would chase after these people, not literally.
Sure.
But, I would gravitate towards these people.
Yeah.
And I'd kind of latch on, and then I kind of became that person myself. Like I'm like, oh, these people play like footy, these people go full driving, they have their cars, and I just gravitated towards that.
Do you think you maybe became a caricature of yourself? Does that make sense, that question? So a caricature is when you've been to the fair and they draw like you've got a big nose. So for me, they'd accentuate my ears would be massive. You've seen political cartoons?
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are caricatures. Totally. So it's not you, it's a version of you. Do you feel like you became a caricature of yourself? It wasn't necessarily you. You were playing a version of yourself.
Yeah, totally. So it was kind of if I'm interpreting
Does that make
right?
sense?
It's
alright
like,
if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, but kind of a little bit lost.
Okay, so you were playing a version of yourself. It was you, but like you were,
as in when I was with that.
When
crowd.
you were with that crowd.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You were altering parts of yourself.
Yeah, totally.
And it's not like you were just like growing. You were faking interests in things you probably didn't necessarily.
I don't think I was faking interest. I think it was. I had such interest, but I kind of mistook.
That's a word. Why not? Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of. I realize now that it was. Is it? Anyway.
Mistook.
Mistook. Yeah. I realize now that it was not the people, it was what they were doing.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Like, but I thought it was the people.
Got you.
Whereas then it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Why don't I just start doing this for myself? And then that's when I realized why I was so interested in hanging out with these people is because I genuinely wanted that for myself. But I just, at the time, thought it was being involved with the people. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Makes perfect sense. I'll tell you the reason why, because I just went through this week.
Really?
Absolutely. So one of my staff members said something very interesting to me this week, and it just clicked something in my head. So Alice said to me on Tuesday, you want people to think you're funny. And that might sound insulting, but I sort of took it on board. It's hard to get me insulted. I take it on board and I think about it. I don't like the word meditate, but I meditate on it. And I thought about it.
You let it bubble.
Correct. I don't let it in. So, like, I suppose the way I picture letting something in is like it goes into the heart. I don't let it in. I let it sit.
You let it simmer.
And then I let it digest in. So I let it sit. So she said that to me at 10 o'clock in the morning. I thought about it all day. I thought about it all night. I did some journaling that night, which is a new thing I'm doing. And then I let it in. And it was very interesting because I think she's correct. And what I worked out is I try and get validation from people through the things that I do, which means that I actually do them not true to myself.
Yeah.
So podcasting, I have noticed myself over the last few episodes asking questions that I know will do well as YouTube shorts, but I don't give a shit. Because I want the validation of an audience.
Yeah.
And when I did, so I want to start doing stand-up. I've done it once. I did 1 5-minute set, and all my jokes were for someone else. I didn't find them funny. I thought they would be funny.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I think you need to do stuff for you. So it's very interesting that you bring that up because it's literally what I've been on this week.
100%.
Yeah.
And that was the catalyst of getting my own forward drive. I was like, I need to do this for myself.
Yeah.
And I joined a footy team, and it was the best female community I've ever been actually the best community I've ever been part of.
Great.
And that was when I was like, not to be like, I'm a strong, independent woman, but honestly, that's what I needed.
That's fine. Yeah.
And that was the turning point of where I was like, now I've become kind of like who I used to desire, and I just feel so
Sick.
much more fulfilled.
Yeah.
I just felt so fulfilled that it just was like, you know, and meeting genuine people like me out there was like, this is what I'm all about. But at the time, I didn't really know that there were people like that. I didn't know there were people like me out there.
Yep.
So it was, it's like the past year has been the best. It's been the best and worst year of my life. No, maybe not the worst year. But there's been some massive highs and some massive lows. But those highs are like, I just know are setting me up for the years to come. And I'm just so excited because now I've found my people. I'm still finding my people. And I've found what I love. And I just think it's just so exciting. And some people are like, cool, camping, that's great. But some, like no one can, understand how much you're passionate about something unless you kind of share that passion.
Absolutely.
So I'm actually just so excited. I'm just so happy now. And, looking back at it, like going back to this journaling, I think within this year, I picked up that journal that 15 to 19-year-old Ebony wrote. And I read that. And I was like, wow, I've come so far.
Yeah.
And I haven't come this far by myself. I've had incredible people supporting me. But it was just like, holy shit. Like, it just really, really just shifted my whole perspective. I was like, I'm so freaking grateful for where I'm at now. And, but the thing is, it's like a lot of people don't see that. Like a lot of people be like, oh, you live your best life. Like it looks like you do all these adventures all the time. And it was like, I'm so grateful that I do that now, but it hasn't always been like that.
Yeah.
And, some people look at me and they're like, they make assumptions, and...
Like what?
Well, just like that I have my shit together.
Sure. Yeah.
And like, you've got the car, you've got the dog.
Gotcha.
And then it kind of, and even through my professional...
always do that.
Yeah, I know. Throughout my professional career, like, people see me as a professional. Whereas they don't see that dark side.
Yeah.
That shit that I had to go through.
Yeah,
so I
absolutely.
think it's really important to kind of you know, share that experience because, you know, I know people that are still going through that really shit phase now. And it's not easy, but, you know, it's so worth it.
Absolutely. Do you find that it adds joy to the phase that you're in now because it was hard?
Oh, 100%.
It's the
Like-
dessert at the end of the broccoli.
I love broccoli though. No, but yeah.
Broccoli's fucking disgusting. Just for the record, broccoli's
I
fucking
love it.
disgusting.
I do this really good broccoli pesto dish. Oh, delicious.
Well, that's just pasta. I mean broccoli on its own though. Just like eating broccoli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes me so much more grateful for
That's
now.
great.
And honestly, I feel like there's always going to be resistant. Not everyone's going to agree with you, but I just feel like, you know, if you try and attack me for doing what I love, like,
Fuck 'em.
yeah, I'm like, I'm
Fuck,
sorry. I would rather be doing what I do now than,
Absolutely.
you know, where I used to be. So, you know, and if anything, it speaks for like where they're at. It's like someone who says that
Yep.
is probably going through a shit time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because no one that is like in a good headspace
Comes
would
from
come to attack.
insecurity. Absolutely.
So if anything, I'm just like, oh, that's a little bit bad for you. Like I feel bad for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, hiding behind a keyboard.
Absolutely.
Keyboard worries. But so yeah, I 100% believe that it's brought me so much more joy.
Fuck
so
yeah.
yeah.
That's great. That's so good. You seem good too. You seem like you're in this awesome bubble
Yeah.
of just like going. I can tell you're doing something for you,
Yeah. Well, honestly,
which is huge.
this
That's
is
the whole thing.
You've caught me at a good time.
Yeah, great.
Because even the past month,
Yeah.
like, you know, from what all I'm talking about, that's just the weekend. That's not even the Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
So the past month I've made a massive decision
Hmm.
to quit my job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And
And do nothing. No. Like
settling.
No, it's it's not easy. I was like, I really need to hit pause on my corporate career.
Yep.
And I'm just going to take time for me.
What are you gonna do?
So I'm actually going to start freelancing my services.
Cool.
So whether that be marketing, some graphic, like I'm not a graphic designer, but there are definitely skills.
Neither is anyone else in the industry.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like there's
So many
skills
people
that I
are
have.
not actually graphic designers and
Yeah.
they offer the service. Have you found that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So, but like, you know, this is very specific to kind of like marketing collateral.
Sure.
Like that
Yeah.
marketing collateral.
Yes.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
So marketing services kind of, you know, there's two avenues I'm going to go down. One is in the same industry that I have worked in for the past few years, which
Yep.
is professional services
Yep.
for the building, construction, property, architectural industry.
Cool.
So that's one side, and then the other side is kind of more of my passion project, which is doing my kartings
Yes.
and kind of seeing where that grows, because there's totally a market for it. Like I want to see females grow in this industry, and while there's so many more females now, like after COVID, there's still such an opportunity. Like it's still very
Agreed.
heavily like male dominated industry.
I'll give you one. I prefer watching. This is gonna sound creepy. I prefer watching chick full drive content.
Oh, 100%.
I find dudes doing full drive content a bit dick swingy. You know what I mean?
Well, do you think that was always the case though?
Not in the 90s when they were doing full drive action.
Yeah.
It was like, Ruthie. Do you know who he is? The old guy.
I'm so
He had the
bad with
FJ
names.
Cruiser with Sean and Graham back in the day. This is
Probably
old.
not.
This is old when they were on Foxtel old.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were just out there with their swags. And then it's the whole, to your point, you were saying this earlier, this whole industry has turned into like a dick swinging contest of
Yeah.
like, I've got the Ram with the canopy and the tray, and I do the jet skis, and I do the power boat, and I do all these bits and pieces. So I find the guy content often to be a bit... What was the word you used earlier? You distilled it really well. Unattainable is what basically you
yeah.
said. Out of reach. You said out of reach.
Yeah.
I find the guy stuff to be really out of reach. But the chicks, what I'm finding, they're just so authentic. And I love that. I love authenticity. I think it plays on social media. I think it plays really well. I think if you can tap into that and put it on TikTok just like you are, man, I think you got a fucking huge opportunity to just cream it.
I'm just like excited, and it's not coming from a place. I think it's really important to acknowledge like where it's coming from as well, because
dude, that's the whole thing.
There's definitely girls out there like live your best life, you do you, but you know, I think what I want to do, I'm really gonna be like on a mission to just do this stuff, because it's like I do this stuff already, but no one sees it.
Yep.
And then people are like, oh, how does the chimney go off-road? And I was like, I want to start capturing that. I was like, I just want to share with you, because I do this stuff already. I do this awesome stuff, but you know, there are girls with 4-wheel drives that take it on a beach and take all these aesthetic pictures and have over 10K followers. But for me, like, that's awesome. You do you. But I want to deliver the good stuff. I want to deliver substance.
The dirt.
I want literally.
You want to be in the trenches. Yeah.
I want to drive into a ditch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, that's what I really want to do, because I freaking love it, and I just want to share that.
It's interesting. It's like the whole industry has lost the antithesis of the sport.
Yeah.
Camping is about getting out there and enjoying nature, and it's sort of turned into this.
Have your coffee machine.
Correct. Like luxury fest. So that's what
yeah.
you like. You like roll out some canvas.
Yeah.
Let's put the mods on the Jimny that are required.
Yeah, totally. Like,
That's
I've just
cool.
got like it seems pretty kitted out, but at the end of the day, it's pretty basic.
Seemed
it's a
appropriately
swag.
kitted out.
Yeah, it's appropriately kitted out for what I drive.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
How I
yeah.
drive it.
Yeah.
It's, you know, swag and esky.
Yep.
That's what my car's for.
Yep.
Like,
That's great.
there's no point putting, you know, I might eventually get a fridge.
Mm.
But at the moment, like, you know, weight is a massive issue.
Yep.
Not going to dive into the GPM,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, so you got to be conscious.
I've got
and
the same issue. I know for
Yeah.
a fact I'm over GBM. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm glad we're transparent.
Yes. Yeah.
And so yeah, it's like I love going in a swag. And look, this is my car. Like, my partner has a Nissan Navara, and it's set up as more of like the tourer,
Long
the bit,
distance.
long distance, where you want that comfort, where you
Yep.
don't want to be rolling out the swag every night, where you're going to sightsee interstate, and you know, go off grid and have the solar panel, have the fridge. I reckon that's a really great level. But for my car, the way it's set up, it's for a weekender.
Yep.
Just go out, have fun, be in the bush, watch the bush TV, which is the fire, for those playing at home.
Yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's
That's
good.
really
So
cool.
I really want to share that, and yeah, I'm pretty excited. So that's my little side gig, but also like I want to learn. Like, I'd love to, you know, I bought a drone, haven't used it yet, hasn't been in the air.
Yeah.
So it's like I really just want to use and learn new media skills in general
Yep.
to, like, one, help me, you know, grow, you know, my Jimny tings.
Yeah.
But also just practice my skills. And I've actually set out the goal, you know, some people are like, well, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to do with this? And I'm like, my goal at the moment is to learn. And I've published 2 YouTube videos so far. Pretty proud of myself. And the first YouTube video, I was like, I'm not going to go and, like, I'm just going to start simple. So I edited the whole thing on my iPhone and published it.
How did that go?
It was good.
How long was it?
Like the
How long's the
actual
finished content?
7 minutes.
Oh, okay. And how long did it take?
Over 40 hours.
Jeez.
But I know.
Yeah.
But there was like so many things that I hadn't considered.
You want some fucking views for that? Yeah.
I think it just hit 1K
Yeah.
views.
Yeah.
No,
alright.
but for me
Yeah.
it was like
That's great.
I literally used CapCut.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool. But I was like,
I've
okay.
used that before.
I was like, I spent all this time researching. I'm like, how do I cut a video? How do I structure a YouTube video? Like, I did heaps of research because I was like, I don't
Oh,
want to
so
just...
within the 40 hours is learning. It's not
Some of
40
it,
hours
yeah.
of labour.
No, it was,
Okay.
yeah, it was
Sure.
learning and also, like, piecing it all together.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and like and one thing is, I see a lot of people just dive into it. But guys, the internet is free. there is so much good resources out there.
Absolutely.
So I just deep dive.
Yep.
And so yeah, and I was like, if I can do it on my iPhone, then I can do it on something else. So, oh, what are we?
See the love hearts coming off the bottom of the TikTok screen there? People are loving this.
Where?
It's not doing it now. But I just saw 6 or 7 love hearts. Someone make the love heart happen again. I'm entertained by that. I think there's a delay.
Oh.
Nobody's going to do it now.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah.
What's it?
So the top right, love hearts were like streaming out. Anyway.
Love that.
Yeah.
We love love.
I guess people who were interested 2 minutes ago are not interested now.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. Where were we?
I don't know. I have ADHD, so I got distracted.
You and me both.
Yeah, I know, right? Man, have I told you this?
Combo.
Have I told you the story of how I worked it out? So were we actually halfway through something? I'm going to come back to the ADHD
Okay.
story. Also, I've had 2 coffees and minimal food, which is going to fuck me up.
Me
What
too.
were we talking
I
about?
haven't eaten.
We
were talking about YouTube. We were talking about growing. Editing.
I'm actually really interested in coming back to the YouTube, but we're going to pause, do ADHD, and come back to YouTube because I'm
Okay.
doing YouTube at the moment as well too.
Yeah.
So I worked out I have ADHD because I was writing comedy material.
Mm.
Yeah. And the way I thought I'd do it is I thought, you know what, I'm going to watch not funny stuff to find some funny stuff. So I sat down to watch a documentary on Pangea. Do you know what Pangea is? Pangea is the landmass. So you understand continental drift, yeah? We used to be part of one big supercontinent. Pangea was the start, pre-continental drift. So I thought I'd watch I was like, well, if I'm going to do history, I'll start at the beginning and I'll just go through history looking for comedy material. Anyway, literally, the narrator comes on and he's got this British accent and he starts with the most profound opening and it was just poetic. What he wrote was beautiful, but I couldn't understand it. It was one of those ones where he's like, browbeaten by the history of time since the dawn of ages. And I was like, I don't know what he's saying. So I paused, skipped back and like watched it again. And the thing was, it's not that I didn't understand what he was saying. It's I couldn't focus on what he was saying.
Yeah.
So I watched it 6 times and I didn't get it. And I went, maybe I have ADHD. So bear in mind, I sat down to write comedy material. Yeah. I've already forgotten about that. So this is step 1.
Yeah.
So I go online and I write in ADHD test. Do I have ADHD? I get halfway through the ADHD test and then get distracted.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you get distracted?
Banner ad. Ford Ranger Raptor banner ad. So I click on the Ford Ranger Raptor and I'm build and price a Ford Ranger Raptor. And then I get halfway through that and decide I want to watch a Ram TRX video on YouTube. And I'm like, it's been 5 minutes. I sat down to write comedy material and now I'm watching a YouTube video on a Ram TRX. And I got about 2 minutes in and I was like, this is boring. I need to do something else now. I literally can't focus. And I was like, all right, well, I probably need to go to the doctor and work out if I do have ADHD. And then I decided that I don't want to do that because what's he going to do? He's going to say, yes, you have ADHD. Here's some drugs. I'm not going to take them. I don't want to have Ritalin. I actually don't want to quiet my mind. I think the only reason... So do you think you have ADHD as well?
Oh, I've had people that don't have it and people that do have it blatantly tell me,
That you
hey,
have it.
Ebony, I think you need to get tested.
Yeah, okay.
For ADHD. Please don't take that out of
Yeah,
context.
Got you. So I lost my train of thought again. Damn it. But yeah, no. I decided that the only reason that I can do all the different things that I do, a podcast, a business, I'm thinking about starting a second business, be a dad, focusing on fitness at the moment, try and do stand-up, is because my brain's fucked. Do I really want to fix that? No. I actually think it's a gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, so that's me.
That's also, like, I feel like we have similar, like a similar kind of background in terms of our like jobs, our careers. Like, I caught up with someone I knew that I used to work with, and he's like, "Hey, Ebony, like, are you still doing the 5 jobs?" And in my mind, and it'd been 1 year since that time had passed, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, which 5 jobs are we talking about?
Dude, I get you.
I was like, I was working as a communications coordinator for a property developer and went on my lunch break And I also did outdoor ed for a little bit beforehand, and went on my lunch break. And this is, it's pretty much epitome of my life. Go on my lunch break, and there was opposite Fed Square.
Yep.
In Victoria. So for those playing at home, like major Melbourne icon,
Yeah.
Melbourne,
Yeah,
Victoria.
yeah.
And they had a zip line for the first time ever in history going over the Yarra River. Anyway, and I was like, that looks cool.
Yeah.
So I go up, and I was like, hey, like I'm on my lunch break. On my lunch break. I'm in my corporate gear.
wearing a blazer.
Yeah, I'm wearing my freaking blazer, my boots.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, this looks like fun. It's like, hey, do you have a spot for one person? They're like, yeah, sure. So I called my boss. I was like, hey, I'm just going to let you know I'm going to be 15 minutes late. I'm just going to go zip line over the Yarra River. If that's not a good excuse.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they're like, they didn't have anything to say. They're like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, so go in, and you got this instructor. You're like with 8 other people. You're in a circle, and you're teaching you how to put a harness on. Anyway, because it's not my first rodeo, I put the harness on, and the guy comes up to me. He's like, "Oh, that's awesome!" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I like working outdoor as well."
Sure.
And he's like, "Do you want a job?" And I was like, "Yes." So he's like, okay, because I know you're on your lunch break. You fly over the river first.
Yeah.
And then come back and talk to us. I was like,
That's
cool.
great.
So did my little zoom over the Yarra River. Awesome. Best lunch break ever. Come back and I was like, hey, yeah, I'm available. And this was like Christmas time, like summer break. And I was like, hey, yeah, totally keen. I can work weekends. Like the shutdown period's starting soon, so I can do these dates. And they're like, cool. And then rocked up to work the next day.
That's mint.
And started
That's
did
crazy.
a zip line.
That's
It was
crazy.
awesome. It was the first one. I think there was a few things I should have signed, but I was like sending people over the Yarra River, and I was like, geez, I hope I tied that bolt in correctly.
Fuck. Nice to know you were trained.
No, I was trained. I was.
Okay. They made sure you knew what you were doing. It wasn't like, oh, you put one harness on correctly on yourself. Go on, should be alright.
Yeah.
That's what it was like.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
For legal purposes, everything.
Yes.
Thorough training,
Yes.
sign-offs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 weeks. Yeah.
Yep, that's
Fair enough.
But yeah, I don't know what we were talking about before then, but
I
that's.
do. I do. I remember growing on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is how we'll start that question.
Okay.
So half of what you're doing is freelance and freelance marketing.
Yep.
So if I said to you, hey, can you help me come up with a couple of carousels for my business's
Yep.
Instagram, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then the other half is chasing your passion of building a life. So if I was a genie right now and I said, you have one wish because you used the other two, I don't know what you use them on, you got one wish left, would you say, I would love to be able to be self-sufficient just doing like full drive vlogs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Like I've set up a few different goals, like the first one being the minimum, which is learning.
Yep.
So in a way, I can't fail because I'm already
sick,
achieving
man.
my
I
goal.
love that. That's great.
And I think a lot of people will come out and just want to chase something, and I'm like, I just want to learn.
That's great.
And my ultimate goal,
Yep.
if there's a genie kind of wanting to grant a wish, please let me know. I'm open. DMs are open. My dream goal would be to be able to do what I love, create, connect with people, be out in the bush, and get paid for it.
That's great.
Like, that would be like a dream come true.
Yeah.
Full stop. Like that would be insane.
That's
like, is
sick.
that achievable? I don't know. Maybe it's something to work towards. But
I think it is. Absolutely. Why not?
yeah. But
Has-
I'm gonna
are there-
small baby steps.
Are there other people? So I know a guy who always says, is there anyone who looks like you that's done it?
Yeah.
Then it's doable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've proven that you have an ability to like network and connect with people and meet with people. Good talker. You're marketable. So I don't see a reason why not.
Yeah. I mean, there's two main people that do it. Females in the industry, that do it well. And
Abby Lister.
yeah. Well, she started up her own social marketing thing.
Has she?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Sports social.
cool.
So it's kind of similar. I mean, like I'm not. I feel like she is what you would class as an influencer.
Yeah.
And she's also got her own thing, which
Yep.
is cool. Whereas like you've got Red Dirt Diaries, which is, have you watched them? What are you doing?
I know.
You should definitely
Just sitting
get
around
onto
doing
them.
nothing.
Yeah.
No,
if you want to
please.
watch
Yeah.
females in the industry,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
100%, they
Again,
she
not
is
creepy. Not
No,
creepy.
no, sorry. Yeah. No, but it's like they
Yeah.
literally are like Bridget Crosado is like leading, like one of the biggest leaders for females in the industry.
Yeah, cool.
So she's really paved the way.
Yep.
For people like little weenie people like me that are
Yeah.
like, that's really cool. Like that's motivation to like put myself out there because seeing someone else that's done it. So she's 100% paved the way for women in the industry.
That's cool.
So I just think that's awesome.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, she was actually, I was listening to a podcast she was on recently and it was really cool just hearing her talk about it. So I think, you know, the fact that I can even just learn from her from, you know, resources like this is awesome.
That's
and I think
cool.
it's so important.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there's people out there doing it.
Yep.
Like it would be like a massive commitment. Like it's insane the kind of stuff they do. But yeah.
But you could just do it your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's like it's a full blown business.
Yeah,
like
I get it.
it's yeah.
get
So,
it.
and it was interesting. I have been seeing this thing come up recently of people with different opinions of social media, and someone was like, "Is social media becoming the new 9 to 5? Like people that are just like going out there just to be content creators as such, is that becoming the new 9 to 5?"
Oh, I definitely think it could be. Absolutely, why not?
Yeah.
I think we now live in a world where everyone is going to be famous to 15 people as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? I'm so curious.
Everyone's
Expand.
a micro influencer
Oh,
in
yeah.
their own little circle of people.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to be, like you could have 365 followers. Yeah. And when you post something that you went and did something, like you're famous to 15 people. Yeah. I think in the future, everyone's going to be famous to 15 people.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think
some people will be medium, some people will be small, some people will be tiny, and some people will be huge. Like you get DJ Khaled's, and then you get Abby Listers, and then you get Ebony Prices. And it all like sequences out. But I think you're just on your journey. I actually think you're going to be huge. Personally. That's why I'm having you on the podcast.
thanks.
Because I want to get in early.
Yeah.
No, but I actually
Just seeing it first here.
I actually love the idea of having people on before they're big. It's like
that's such a compliment. Like, and honestly, there are totally times where I'm like, why am I even doing this? Which sounds so
get
really
it.
dumb.
Yeah.
Even though like I'm not really, like I'm doing things, like I'm putting out content, I'm
Yep.
sharing with people what I love. So it's not actually a big deal. But even then, it's like it's so easy to lose motivation to do that. It's
sure.
like, why am I doing this? But when people like you are like,
yeah. No, you're going to be huge.
yeah, like
If you
it's so
with the
motivating.
with the
It's-
caveat that you have to stay the course. Like if you give up and put nothing out, then nothing's going to happen.
Oh, 100%.
You got to continue. And you got
It's-
to and don't lose yourself.
Yeah.
Like what we were talking about earlier.
Oh yeah.
Don't lose yourself.
Yeah,
Don't sell
and
out.
that is what I'm learning very quickly. Working with other brands, and
Or were they trying to get you to be someone you're not?
well,
You don't have to
trying to-
use names.
yeah, no, I won't use names. I'm just trying to like I kind of see both sides of it.
Yep.
Because I've come from that kind of marketing
yeah.
background.
Well, that's interesting. You've probably been on the other side. You've probably
Yeah.
reached out to brands.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting because like brands will approach me and I'm kind of like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I know what you're doing. So a massive common thing is brands reaching out, be like, hey, we want to send you this product. Like, you know, the brands that are doing it well are the ones like, hey, we love what you're doing. We'd just love to send you this product for your review. I reckon if it's like a free thing like that, that is 100% valid and 100% real.
Yep.
But where I have an issue is when brands are reaching out who you've never used before and be like, hey, we want to send you this out, but here's the catch. You got to make us content in return. And here are the selling points. That's where I have an issue. That is where I'm like, I don't want to accept collaborations that I haven't used before or I don't know about, because it's so hard. Like, so many people do it because they're like, yes, that's awesome. And like, there's a time and place for everything. So, you know, I think there are times where it's appropriate. I was like, this is great. Like, you're getting your foot in the door, you're doing these collaborations, you're growing a profile. But if it's stuff that you're not 100% sold about, like, you've got to stick to your gut.
Absolutely.
So, like, you know, when Max Tracks, for example, reached out, I was like, oh my God, stop.
Yes.
And they sent me the new Max Tracks Lite.
Yeah.
And I was like, 100%, like, I will sign my life away. Like, you know, and these are like unpaid. Like, the ideal would be paid, where you can generate a really solid script. You can actually give them something valuable to use in their marketing collateral.
Free work always leads to paid work.
Yeah. So I think it's, you know, and the video I made, it was pretty subpar. I was actually really disappointed, but that's a whole nother story for another day. But I did put something out there. But yeah, if, you know, you have brands come in and be like, hey, we want to send you this coffee mug.
Yep.
But can you please tell your audience about all the 5 benefits and stuff? That's when I'm like, have an issue.
See, I'm a prick. And I do it, but I do it in my way. So if you told me you got to sell the 5 benefits, we're gonna send you the mug. I'd say, sure, send me the mug. And I'd say, so Maxwell Williams sent me this mug. I know it's Maxwell Williams, and they've asked me to talk about the fact that it's blue tinted glass that's dishwashable. The handle's an ergonomic design so that the weight of the coffee isn't blah 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 blah. But my experience is that when you put it down, it cracks. The dishwasher, it doesn't. I'd be a prick about it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
and that is the really
because how fucking dare you tell me what to do?
I know.
This is my brand,
and I haven't, like, there's definitely been a brand that has sent me out something that was like, yeah, okay, now you got to write this script and blah blah blah. Anyway, I did not do that.
Nope.
I just I literally put an Instagram story because I was like, there was a couple of red flags, and I was like, and I just put an Instagram story, and I like nothing. I didn't say anything. It was like cute little beach and this item sitting there, and that was it. I was like, that's all you're getting. I'm sorry.
It's also a really shit idea for them to tell you how to interact with your audience.
Oh, 100%.
Well. You know your audience. That if you're making content that is working, it means you know the little hooks and the little words. Like, I know that my audience prefer it when I swear.
Yeah.
If I had this pen company send me this pen and I had to sell it and they're like, don't swear and don't be sarcastic, I would be like,
it's ingenuine.
It's not going to work.
You're going to lose
audience
followers.
Is going to
They're going to see through it.
I might not lose followers, but the audience is going to know. And I see it when I listen. So I listen to a lot of podcasts in the Joe Rogan verse. So, do you know who Theo Vaughn is? Okay. I thought you may have. Anyway, that's okay. He will read ads out. Like, they'll do like a Blue Chew ad, which is Viagra. And he'll read it. And it definitely sounds like he's reading it. It's obvious that he's reading it. You get that. And I'm just like, man, that's like not genuine.
Yeah. At
all. Tim Dillon does it too, and he's another podcaster in that universe. But what he does is he reads the script sarcastically. So that's funny.
I love that.
So you've got the context of he's actually being a prick.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like, because that's, as an audience member, if he was being genuine and salesy, I'd be like, nah, I'm not interested in this. You're selling out, bro.
Yeah. And the thing is, none of my content that I've put out has been salesy. So why tell me why I would compromise that just to get like a $50 product. Like, tell me why. Like, what's the thought process behind that? There's no value. So, and I mean, each to their own, but I've just kind of like, what I really want to do from the start, from the get-go, is I'm like, I've got to be true to myself, because you see it so often, people just selling out, and I don't want to be that person. And I do have collaborations at the moment, like Legend X, absolute legends, believe it or not, with the name. Yeah. And it's great because I've got a contract with them. Contracts paperwork so freaking important. So important. But a lot of people starting out don't have any
Do
concept
handshake
of it.
deals.
Don't have any concept.
Yeah.
And I had a solid conversation with one of my mates who
Yeah.
was signing a contract for a different brand, and I was like, red flag, red flag, red flag. But they were just like, yeah, whatever. But I'm just like, that can come and bite you in the bum.
Yep.
But
What
you
do they
gotta
want,
do your
the
own
IP or
research.
something?
They this company wanted full copyright ownership of every material they gave them.
Yeah,
Red
so
flag.
they wanted the IP.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Never
disgusting.
sign that.
No,
Never,
that's
ever,
disgusting.
ever, ever. Anyway.
Yeah.
But
Chess, not checkers.
yeah.
Don't think about the next move. Think about 5 moves down the track.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Chess.
That is so
Chess, not checkers.
literally. And even if you're just starting humble beginnings like me, like you got to start somewhere, but you got to think
Fucking
ahead.
back yourself. You're
Yeah.
going to be huge. Like this, no, like everyone though, not just you. Like, back
yeah.
yourself. If you're going to put time aside, back yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also you need to sell yourself before you sell anyone. This podcast got
100%.
dramatically better around episode 4 because I decided it was going to be huge. I decided it was worth the
Good.
investment in all the tools to make it a good podcast because I sold myself. Whereas episode 1 to 3, it was a fucking disaster and I spent no money on it. And it's not about the money you spend on it. It's about deciding that you're going to take it seriously and deciding it's going to work. And it'd be exactly the same for you. If you were insecure about your brand and what you were selling, and when I say selling, I mean putting out,
Yeah.
it would come through. You would feel that you're pulling your punches.
And I think a really, going back to my 2 episodes, the first episode I kind of went in with no game plan. I kind of had some ideas what I wanted to do, filmed the 2 weeks in South Australia, but I only actually used the first 3 days. But because the rest I was like, this actually
Sure.
isn't relevant.
Yep.
And so I was really intentional.
Yep.
Like I was like, I put my hat on and I was like, if I was watching this, I would get bored. So I'm not going to include all that.
Yeah.
And the second episode was the massive, talking in front of the camera.
Yeah.
It was like, that I think is I know
Were you
that
on your
people
own?
Yeah, well, I was in my own car and Luke was in his.
So you
my
were
partner.
sitting in a car on your own.
Yeah. If he was,
In the car.
but
with
if
you.
he was in the car, he would have been laughing at me the whole time. And I would
okay.
not have felt comfortable. Like,
Oh,
love
really?
him to pieces.
Really?
But I feel like it's hard in front of someone else talking in front of the camera.
Find it easier.
Really?
So I'll tell you why, because you can't do timing on your own. And what I mean when I say time, like whether it's comic timing or whether it's dramatic timing, it's really hard to sit on your own and produce something compelling because you're not getting audience feedback.
Yeah.
So I know that this point is hitting because I can see your eyes. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting feedback. And I know when, like, the moment it hits, I can do timing. And I can stop talking.
Yeah.
So the first episode of this show, I sat right there. There was mess everywhere. I sat right there, sat my laptop up on the upside down bin here, and I plugged a USB mic in, which I sat right there, and I talked, and it's the fucking worst piece of garbage you'll see on the internet because I just ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble.
very
because
unlike
you.
you.
Can't, I know, right? But you can't do timing.
Yeah.
So for me, I am like, I couldn't do, if you were like, I can't come, and I was like, but I want to get an episode out this week, I would find someone on the street before I do it on my own.
Yeah. And what I did was very intentional. So
What do you mean I ramble? Fuck off.
so do I. You and me both. Don't worry. It's a gift,
Yeah.
Andrew. It's a gift.
Yeah.
You know. Imagine not being able to ramble.
Yeah.
Like what? Like
Yeah.
what?
No.
Anyway.
No.
I could just
What
sit
a terrible
in silence.
life.
So what I did was, it's actually so funny. Like the edited video, like I would show a couple of my friends before I posted,
Yep.
and they were like, I was like, I genuinely want feedback. And I had my one of my close friends who's been a producer in Sydney doing the whole shebang. And she was like, Ebony, like you spoke so well, and I'm not just saying that. Like you did so well. And I was like, thank you. Now let me show you the real deal. And I showed her the unedited. And it's like, I don't even know how many hours of me like, I only put like a couple of seconds of me in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But you got to see me sitting in the awkward silences. So what I would do, I would have the camera, had the GoPro set up like this, and then I would start and be like, hey, we're just going out to the high country this weekend. Really excited. We've been here before. Anyway, if I didn't like it, like the first time I said something, I was like, wow, I sound boring. So I was like, okay, I got to up my game. So next clip, we're in the high country today and I'm so freaking excited, blah, 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 blah. And then I would pause, long pause. And then I would say the same thing again.
Okay.
Ooh, just hate the microphone. That's okay. I would say the same thing again and be like, we're in the high country today and we're going to tackle some hard tracks.
Yeah.
And long pause. And then it's like, it's so funny looking at the footage. It's so awkward. It's just like me driving. There's like silence, like little trees coming in. You hear like things clanking under the car. And then I would start again.
There's nothing more torturous than the first few times you watch yourself on camera. Yeah. It's bad.
It's so bad.
You get used to it, though.
Yeah, and it was, I very quickly like got used to it because it was like only, I'm like, some people treat it as if it's like live. And whereas I was like, I know I'm going to be the only one to see this, so it actually doesn't matter. So I kind of just, the way I did it the first time was like, I would just say little words, awkward pause, reevaluate my life decisions, and then say something again.
Yep.
And like that was, and yeah, if someone else was in the car with me, I would have been just embarrassed and would have just been really flustered and like felt on the spot, and it just would have been too overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened when I tried to do the max tracks. Everything was overwhelming. There was too many cooks in the kitchen. There were too many people. So I was like, absolutely not. If I want to do this well, I want to do it my way. Cool. And I want to learn by myself. So that was how I did it.
Yeah.
And I totally encourage other people to do it. And that was only just through learning off other people. It's
That's
like,
great.
because like you see the final product, but you don't really see the behind the scenes. So seeing people do that, I was like, oh, that is so smart.
That's awesome.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
So it's, and that's what I started doing, and it works well. And then I show Philippa, and I'm like, hey, this is me on camera. She's like, wow.
Yeah.
And then, I show her the after, and she's like, oh, yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah.
That's really awkward.
well.
But you've included the good parts, and that's what that is. So, yeah, it's so much fun. I freaking love it. It's really fun.
I think that's the most important bit. You have to really enjoy it. And I think if you enjoy it, you'll be able to get through those really tough, awkward pieces.
Yeah.
And learning.
Yeah, and the reality is to do stuff like the long form YouTube or even like short form, I've really found a love for the long form. Me too. All the short form, I'm kind of a bit like, oh, I don't know. Like, it doesn't really resonate with me. But you have to love the process. You have to love the process, and you have to be consistent. I mean, I've got to implement this myself.
Yeah.
But that is the biggest learnings I've taken from people that are doing it well. Because a lot of people get into it and then they kind of like, they drop off.
Yep.
It's like, I don't even know what the stats are, but it's like, 95% of YouTube channels fail. Something. Maybe it's not 95%, but a really high statistic because people just are like, oh, no, that's a wrap.
Yep.
But, so that's what I'm going to try implement. This is really good because me saying this out loud into the universe,
on wax now.
It's everyone has to hold me accountable.
Now.
If I slack off, be like, what are you doing? Get your shit together, Ebony.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
No, I get it. People do drop off. I dropped off. So I did you see the video that went really well for me on TikTok?
Which one was it?
So,
I've been off TikTok.
You're alright. No, 3 years ago, I had a video that went viral on TikTok. Went to 1.4 million people. And it was how to buy your first home at 19 like I did.
Oh, yes, I think I remember this.
Yeah. So it went really well.
Yeah.
And I got 14,000 followers out of it, which was really cool. And the Daily Mail wrote an article on me. Like,
really?
Yeah, it was cool. Like, it was a thing. I was like, but the problem is, I went, fuck yeah, I've made it. I'm famous now. Yeah.
That's me.
And I was creating videos. So number one, I was talking about something I didn't give a shit about. I like real estate to a point, but I'm not passionate about it. And I was inadvertently building a brand around something I didn't realize at the time I didn't care about, which is a real problem. And then when it hit, I went, fuck, I have to keep making these videos now. I don't think I want to.
Yeah.
So I wasn't passionate about it. That's why the passion's important. I sort of half continued. I modified it a little bit and I started doing some other content, which was good, but I wasn't in love with the journey. I was in
Yeah.
love with getting there. And then I was like, got there,
Now what?
whatever.
Got there, now what?
I've proven to myself that I can do it.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's only until 4 months ago when I started doing this podcast that I worked out, now this is what I like.
Yes.
I like people. I like to talk about people. I like finding out. So anytime anyone's doing something mildly extraordinary, like what you're doing at the moment, I think you're onto something extraordinary. And when I say extraordinary, I mean extraordinary. Like literally, like you don't have a job. You've decided to step out of your comfort zone and like take the step on the moon, basically. And I like getting inside people's head when that's how they work. So that's why I have a whole bunch of random people that don't really seem connected on this podcast. It's anytime anyone's doing something extraordinary.
That's good.
Yeah.
And people, like, stories matter.
Yeah, man.
And one of my biggest points to try start, I did a little, what is it? Threads.
Yep.
I wrote a thread. Is that what you call it? A singular?
I don't know.
For the first
I downloaded
time.
it the other day.
And it was like, it actually did well. I mean, by well, I was like, no one follows me. It had like 15 likes. And for me, I was like, fuck yeah. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
And it was, I said, I was like, oh, what did I say? No, I'm just going to get it out. I can't
please,
remember. I'm
please.
just going to butcher it.
Yeah.
Oh, my sister said, you being on the podcast. I'll just say I'm on it right now. I'm on it.
She's not watching live, is she?
Not yet. Watch live. Hee hee.
On literally any social media of mine apart from Instagram, because Instagram will not play ball for whatever reason.
Really?
Nah, you got to enter your stream key every single time,
Yeah,
and the only way to get
right.
your stream key, you can't get it through Instagram. You got to get it through some sort of back door. If you're listening to this and you know how I can get my stream key and put it in once on Instagram so I can go live every time, let me know. That would be much appreciated.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, I found the thread.
Please.
So I said, things you don't need to make your first YouTube video. Number 1, all the gear and equipment.
That's great. Yep. Perfect.
Number 2, the latest editing softwares and laptops. Things you do need. Number 1, you need to know how to tell a story. Full stop.
Yep.
Bracket, I'm still working on this one. Close bracket.
That's good. I like that.
So that, yeah, and I just think like, and that's like my, me putting my thought process onto paper, and that's just from other learnings. But I just think like, having a story is what people gravitate towards.
Everyone's got a story. Though.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a story, even if you think it's boring.
So that's why it's like, how do I convey this story?
My wife watches women eating cereal, and that's such a stupid way of describing that.
What type of cereal? Fruit Loops?
No, not actually cereal. Like, here's me meal prepping my day. So I'm making like overnight oats with like, we put some like chia in it and some peanut butter on top. And then later this afternoon, we're going to go for a nice stroll because like it's nice weather outside. So we're going to have a nice stroll today. And then I might reorganize my closet. And then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to like visualize the year because and you look at it and it's got like 49,000 views in the first 8 hours. You're like, who the fuck is watching this? This is nothing. So, in my opinion, they have no story. But fuck, they have a story because 49,000 people watch it in the first 8 hours. Everyone's got a story. In my opinion, the only thing you kind of need is you need a smartphone. I reckon you need a smartphone.
Yeah.
You might not actually need a smartphone. You might be able to have a camera that has an SD card and then go to the library and plug the SD card in at the library and then put it onto Facebook and YouTube that way. But the reality is you have a smartphone. Everyone has a smartphone. And if you don't have one, get a secondhand one.
Yeah.
If it has a camera, put it up and just make something. Just start.
It's so true though. Like half of my footage was like I bought a GoPro which was pretty exciting. But I practiced with like an old GoPro that was lying around. So it was like, yeah.
That's $75.
Yeah, literally.
This GoPro is $75.
I always I use the gear that I have before I reach its limitations.
Yep.
And then I'm like, okay, now I'm going to upgrade.
Me too.
So I got the GoPro and, I was using a secondhand one and I was like, this is awesome, but no stabilization. Like, it was really shit quality. But I was like, frick yeah, I'm getting one.
Absolutely.
And so then, like, half my footage was like GoPro and then half the footage was my phone. And then people were like, oh, what camera did you use? And I was like, my phone camera. But yeah, it's like technology is like advancing so quickly, and like the iPhone camera is
if you've
so
got a
good.
new iPhone now, you've got like literally you've got the Academy Award winning camera sitting
It's
in
so
your
good
pocket.
and it's so easy. Like, I mean, obviously I need to update my storage because I couldn't record this. But yeah, it's so freaking and it's handy. It's good, and like, you know, I always like picking other people's brains, and there's a lot of creators out there that are like, we use the GoPro and we use our phone, and we bought a new camera but we don't use it. So it's, you know, it's always good to hear from people that do have access to that and what they're using, but also what they prefer to use.
Absolutely.
And you don't need all the gear
No.
to be producing great stuff.
No.
Like, that's a fact. But, you know, using it well, that's what you should learn how to do.
Yep.
Or just have a great personality. That
Yeah.
really helps.
Agreed.
I think personality over a lot of things, like a lot of people will put all this time into massive editing and writing scripts, which is cool. But at the end of the day, like, you gotta have some personality.
It's just
As
increasing
in,
the-
like, you gotta show your personality is what I'm trying to
Agreed.
say. Like,
Agreed.
everyone has their own unique personality. You gotta show that.
Yep.
And that's what matters.
Absolutely.
So,
And you could be introverted. You could be introverted and do great. I'm trying to think of an example of someone who's not necessarily charismatic, who's done really well. I actually can't think of one, but I'm sure it exists.
yeah, well, there's like people in the industry that like come across really well on camera, but in reality they're an introvert.
Yep.
And like, some people meet them and be like, oh, this person was really rude, but it just takes people time to warm up to people.
Yeah.
But on camera they're great. So there's totally people in any industry that are like that. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
You do you.
We were messaging before this, and you were talking about scamming and tourism. Oh, yes. You remember that?
Yeah. So this is going back to the social media vibes. Okay. So anyone that's kind of like interested in traveling Australia or four-wheel driving or any kind of, not even four-wheel driving. This is just anyone that's interested in traveling Australia has probably come across the ads. You tell me if you've seen them. We quit the 9-to-5 job.
Yes.
We now living our best lives. We have financial freedom. DM, I'm ready to get started.
Yes, I've seen that. Yep.
Yeah. So many people do that.
Yeah.
But then they're very, like, sneaky about it. They don't tell you what they're selling you. But, like, do they say in the ad what they're selling you? No.
No.
Do you know what they're selling you?
No. What are they selling you?
A course.
A course, yeah.
And you know what you're going to do with that course?
Nothing.
No. You're going to take that course and you're going to sell that course to other people.
Oh, it's a pyramid scheme.
So it's a course on how to sell courses.
That's a
It's
pyramid
just-
scheme.
So, like, the definition of a pyramid scheme is, first of all, you have to have some kind of financial, like, obligation to enter this whatever business they call
Sure.
it. So, you're like, DM, I'm ready. All right, yeah, I'm ready. Okay, great. Well, here's a free course.
Yeah.
You can do a
Yeah.
little intro. That is marketing tactic number 1,
Yeah.
offering a free service to get you hooked. Do this, join our free online masterclass. The second hook, all right, now to be part of the next level, you got to sign up and it's $300. So if I have to join, like, it's literally the math isn't mathing. If I have to pay to be part of this business, like, red flag. And then the second red flag, like, well, the second indicator of a pyramid scheme is that there are financial motivators to recruit. Like, it's based off recruitment. And this could just be a course, or it can even be a product as well. So a lot of businesses hide behind a product. There's a specific water filter going around in Australia, and I'll tell you what, it's an MLM. It's a multi-level marketing scheme. But they're like, no, it's a product. It's what, like, this is the best water you're going to taste in your life. This has got all these health benefits, blah, blah, blah. Guys, the internet is free. Do your freaking research. Like, where is this coming from? Like, where are the stats? Does this person have a degree in health? Do they have a degree in anything? Do they have any credentials? I'll give you a little secret. They don't.
They don't.
Or they've just made some up. And, you know, first of all, like, if you do want to have your own business, and if you do want to start being like an online creator or whatever, there are a lot of resources out there. And the thing is, the problem is with the course is that information, and usually it doesn't really get updated. So, first of all, you're getting sold useless information or out-of-date information when there are people that literally get paid on YouTube to deliver you up-to-date and good, like, information and instructions on how to grow an online presence, how to grow an online business. But, you know, and there's people like, yeah, but it's easier if I just go through this person. No, it's actually easy to type into YouTube or Google how to start online business. But people get sucked into the lifestyle. They literally get told to sell the lifestyle and not what they actually are selling.
Yep.
So, I'm very passionate about this subject.
Seems.
You're good. But I'm very passionate about this subject, and I even did a cheeky, like, I don't really share my opinions on my socials, but the other day I did
when
a cheeky
you said
post.
cheeky, I thought you were going to say a cheeky attempt at my own MLM.
Oh, no, catch me.
Which, by the way, if you would like to buy my course...
Yeah, it's 99 cents for the first 30 days. No, it's... What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so I did a post, and there's this one particular water filter MLM scheme going on around Australia.
Why don't you name and shame them? I do that pretty regularly on this podcast.
And it's Anagic.
Ooh.
I don't know. But it's got a couple of names, because I think it came out of the US, potentially. Well, anyway, it's in Australia now. It's under that name, but there's a few different... like, names that go under it.
Sure.
So it might not necessarily be that. It might be a course, which then that's a part of it. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. What was I saying? My Instagram story.
Yeah,
okay. And because I know this is very prevalent in the community at the moment, and so I did a post. I was like, hey, like, this might be controversial, but if you want to be part of this blah 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 scheme, the internet is free. Do your research. And I put a link to. There's this really awesome girl named, I think, Isabel, on YouTube, who, like, literally she gets paid on YouTube to talk about the, like, MLM and pyramid schemes and anything scam related. Like, she has all these really awesome partnerships which help her. Like, that's her job, to talk about these things. So she deep dives into all these different businesses and kind of debunks and kind of also unpacks what marketing tactics they're using and how they're taking advantage of vulnerable people.
Yeah.
And if you want to see someone passionately talk about a pyramid scheme, get onto her. Like, she's so easy to watch. And so I put a link to that YouTube video because it was honestly the best research. Like, it just put everything so well. It was like, this, if you, like, disagree with this, then I don't know what world you're living on.
Yeah,
because
okay.
she just completely unpacks it all and tells you black and white exactly how it's a pyramid scheme and exactly how they're taking advantage of you. So, yeah, it's so unethical, but it's painted as a business.
It's old too. As in, MLMs have been around for a very long time. I don't know what the first one was, but I mean, like, Amway. That's a multi-level marketing scheme. You know what Amway is?
No, what is it?
It's household products.
Is it like Avon?
It's like Avon. You used to work for
Like
Avon, didn't
Scentsy?
you?
Yeah, actually.
Nah.
I started. My first ever job was an Avon representative, and do you know how much money I made?
0.
I made $3 one time.
Really?
Do you know who my customer was?
Mum.
My mum.
Mum. Yeah.
And that's when I stopped doing it.
Fair enough too.
So, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, mind you, they did really good products. Freaking love their stuff. But, you know, it's the incentive to
Yep.
recruit, like, that is just so unethical.
Yep.
And, I mean, this is different to when you're in a structured, proper corporate business and there's a $2,000 incentive to recommend someone for the job. That's different. That's different. Because it's just, it's not like, you know, if you had a company and you had someone else and was like, I'll give you $2,000 if you can find the right hire and you employ me. I'm not going to then, you know, there's not going to be any jobs for me to hire anyone. So that's different. So that's obviously a different kind of.
I think Andrew Tate's university is an MLM. I'm sure you're a big fan of him. Is Hustlers University?
Oh, there's this. I watched this YouTube video the other day, and this guy he spent, I don't know how many.
Yes.
Yeah.
But his whole you go.
Oh, yeah. And he literally spent thousands of dollars buying all these courses, and I think Andrew Tate's was one of them. And he was like, I watched through however many hours, did all these different courses, and this is what it taught me.
Yep.
Nothing. That he couldn't learn on the internet for free.
Well, that's the argument with university going away, though. Like, you can learn everything on the internet. Do you need to go to university to learn how to be a graphic designer now?
No.
Because...
But you have to be good at it.
Yes.
Canva is not graphic design. I just want to put it out there.
You listening, Josh?
I mean, it's good for tools, but if you're starting a business... Sorry, this is another subject I'm passionate about. If you're starting a business, I wholeheartedly believe graphic design, branding is not just a logo. It's the whole branding behind it. There's so much that goes into it. And, like, you know, if you're just starting off, like, I know so many people that have started off their podcast, their books, of just, like, putting something together in Word and making that their thing. Yeah, cool. That's awesome. But if you want to grow, you got to rely, like, you can get good design. But, I mean, it's going back to the King situation.
Yeah.
You know, it is free. It's accessible. If you want to start up, absolutely. But if you're a business, hire a graphic designer. If you have the resources, it's so much more worthwhile. It's so much more valuable. But then again, you know, if you're just starting out, live your best life.
My argument with not needing to go to university to be a graphic designer is ultimately graphic design is art, yeah?
Yeah.
You can't teach art. Art's a brain thing, yeah? Being able to interpret and be an artist is a brain thing. You look at something... like, I just don't think you can go to school to learn how to be an artist. You can go to school to learn how to pick up the skills to be an artist. It's like going to school to be an inventor. It's a brain thing. Yeah, math people have a brain for it. Art people have a brain for it. So you're actually going to art school to hone your skills. You can hone your skills on YouTube. I think graphic design degrees will not exist in 15 years, maybe earlier.
Interesting.
The brand of university is going away. Less people are interested in tertiary formal education now than ever.
And, you know, especially non-traditional pathways as well is a massive thing. Like when we were in school, I don't personally know anyone that was like, I want to grow up and I want to be a YouTuber. Like, people are saying that now, but, you know, back then, like, it was very much like, I'm going to go to university. I went to, like, I didn't have a gap year. That's also the reason why I'm taking a pause, because I haven't had any...
I haven't either.
Yeah, and I just went straight into studying a Bachelor of Business, majoring in marketing,
Yeah.
which then went on to interior design, commercial design. My HEC step is looking very sad at the
Yeah, I
moment.
bet. Yeah. I don't have one. I got out of that in 6 months. But man, I was very
Yeah.
similar. Like 18, I did 6 months of design at school, and then I left that and went into real estate and bought a house, and then my life was over. Like I never took a break.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm now doing stuff like this as like a vocation, because it's like, well, part of life should be a break. You know what I mean? And it's not really a break because you actually have a plan.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, at the moment, it's a big thing to quit my job, but like I'm trying to tell people out there, everyone's like, the first question that I get is when I'm like, oh, I just like resigned from my job. Oh, what's your next job?
Yeah.
Like, have you got a new job somewhere
What's
else?
the plan? Yeah.
Yeah, and every other time I've like left a job or been like last year I was made redundant twice, which is
Twice
like
1 year. That's pretty
horrible.
cool.
But it's the industry at the moment of architecture interiors.
Yeah.
So it was pretty heavy. But yeah, and it's like I've always had a job lined up, whereas this time I'm like, if I can market for someone else's business, why don't I just do that for myself?
Yep.
So that's my plan.
Yeah.
And I've already touched on what I'm going to do, but that's, in a way, it's like I'm not going into a job, but I've got a plan, and my plan is to maybe one day make this my job.
That's great.
So, but yeah, back then, if
You can.
I couldn't,
Yep.
I would never have done this straight out of high school. One, I didn't know who I was.
Yep.
Like, I feel like I've only realized who I was as
Me
a
too.
person in the past year.
Me too.
And two, like, I just wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't the, like, society at the time. It wasn't really, like, socially accepted.
Very accessible now, isn't it?
Whereas now, it's kind of like, everyone wants it.
Absolutely.
And also everyone thinks it's achievable. And, like, a lot of people going back to these MLM schemes are like, make it seem like it's, you get that instant gratification. Like, let me give you financial freedom. It's like
Absolutely.
lazy girl way of making money. But at the end of the day, you're going to put the work in
Absolutely.
to sell your stupid course of
Absolutely.
selling courses. You got to
Absolutely.
sell it to someone.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing. It's like, I could go, like, I could spend 10 hours talking about this, but yeah, moral of the story, like, society has changed, and it's in a good way and a bad way.
It definitely has changed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It is good. I honestly think, I was having this conversation with someone the other day. Now, for the first time in history, you can actually go and chase your passion. Practically. For the first time ever. So in the 70s, if you were working in a job and you wanted to start a blueberry jam business on the side, what would you have to, you would be fucked. Whereas, because you work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, when's that going to happen?
Yeah.
Saturday? Whereas now, you can practically sell blueberry jam on Amazon at night.
Yeah.
That's real. Like, for the first time ever, we're so lucky that you can start a business, or you can chase. So if you wanted to make a life traveling and putting out content about four driving, you would have to do a journalism degree,
Yeah.
and you would have
For
to get a
sure.
job on some channel
Yeah.
at Foxtel.
Well, that's even like how four-wheel drive 24/7
Correct.
started. Like, some people that look at them now, they're like, oh, they're just, it's full of ads, it's full of salesy stuff, and it's just like, you got to acknowledge.
Of course there is.
And it's like, they started doing it as a magazine.
Yep.
Like, it was a magazine. What's in magazines? Ads.
It was a DVD.
Oh, yeah,
component.
DVD.
It was a
yeah.
DVD. I remember being like 10 years old and persuading mum to get the magazine so we could get the
Yeah.
full drive action special. And it was a DVD insert at the back of the magazine. Isn't that just so demonstrative of the way society works? It was the afterthought at the back of the magazine, something designed to sell the magazine, and it is now their entire business.
Yeah.
And that just by virtue of the way the world works, being YouTube is now a big business. Now, if they were still selling that magazine, do they still sell that magazine? It'd be a fucking waste of time if they are. Their
Yeah.
YouTube is the business. now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do get a little bit caught up in like, oh, it's really salesy. But at the end of the day, it is a business. What does a business need to run?
Yeah, coins.
It needs
Couple
cash
of
dollars.
shekels. Yeah.
So how are they going to make that?
Correct.
Ads is a really great and accessible way.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, the people that are like, oh, I'm so sick of this. It's like, well, do you want to keep watching it?
Correct.
If you, like, it's your choice, one, for watching it. But if you want to keep watching it, like, it's just your reality.
Absolutely.
So, and at the end of the day, like, social media isn't free.
No.
Like, you know, we could.
What do you mean when you say social media isn't free?
So, Instagram could charge us money to have the app. So, but they're not going to do that.
So you said social media isn't free. Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
sorry.
It's a business. They have to have.
Yeah.
They have to get money from somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Instagram has employees. So
Yeah.
the way that they're generating money is through other businesses coming in and being like, we want to pay you $500 to run an ad for a
Correct.
week. So that's their business model. Like at the end of the day, we could be charging for Instagram. Mm-hmm. But you know, that's how they're running the business.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's probably, there would be a lot more to that. Like, this is just very surface level as an example. But, you know, businesses aren't just free to run.
Yeah, correct.
And I think some people just don't
Yeah.
really, like,
No.
they don't. I think, you know, some people need
To pause for
to
a moment.
critically think.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we just put our little
Yeah.
different hat on and
Yeah.
critically think about the world for a second? But, yeah. Apparently
Absolutely.
not that many people can do that.
Have I asked you everything you wrote down? So
don't
problem is
know.
my phone is over there, so I can't refer to my notes.
Oh, I
so I'm
can
going
have
off
a look.
memory. So I've started doing this thing where I'll ask the guest, is there anything you want to bring up? Because I like the idea of everyone getting
yeah.
value. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, one little funny
Yes.
thing. This is going back to the Jimny niche,
Yeah.
right? So there's kind of, from experience, there's two kind of demographics that love the Jimnies, like
Yeah.
the main, like, prominent demographics. And I'm talking, like, young girls like me. It's so freaking funny when people be like, oh, yeah, I know this other girl that has a Jimny. You might know her. She's tall and blonde. And I just look them in the face.
Like me.
I'm just like, well, there's a lot of tall blondes with Jimnies out there, actually. And, you know, and I'm not just saying, like, I'm just using that as an example because people literally, like, I've had so many people be like, yeah, there's this blonde, tall
Yeah.
girl with a Jimny. There's so many of us. But there's so many girls that are buying it and that are buying it because it's accessible and they want to get into camping and forward driving. And it's still, you know, there's this girl that makes her videos really aesthetic. Like, it's like this whole nother niche of like girly aesthetic camping vibes, which is cool. I'm more of like a grub bogan with
Me
a bit of
too.
a bougie car.
Yeah.
That's kind of my vibe.
I like that.
Yeah, but
I mean,
that's
evident by where we are. There's a turbocharger sitting there. There's a funnel that I've put beer in very recently in shock. Like, it's just me too. I don't like pretty. I don't like fancy. I don't like fancy.
No, and like, love that for you, but like, I'm just gonna stick to me. And
Yes.
you know, I'm part of it. I'm gonna be part of a shoot recently, and he's being very specific of not picking, like, you know, it's a very like higher end brand, so he's kind of picking his audience very well. And he's like, yeah, I know you're bogan, but you don't really necessarily come across as bogan.
Yeah.
So it's like, thanks.
Yeah.
But back to the demographics. So there's a lot of girls that are out there that are buying it to get into it, which is so awesome, and I fully support that. And because it is a really good, easy car to learn in, and like, you can just take it on the beach, or you get stock as a rock, and it'll be great, and it's fine. So it's really awesome for that. And then there's also kind of like middle-aged men,
Sure.
but that are a little bit more alternative.
Yep.
So, like, going up to, like, a normal, traditional forward drive meet, you got all these big rigs, you got the cruisers, you got everyone limmy bashing, and, like, that's a certain demographic. And then going to a Jimny meet, it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's just like a all-sorted bag of lollies.
Sure.
And it's funny. And there's this little thing that people do. It's only because I had one of my friends in the car with me. We're going for a drive to Wilson's Prom, super scenic, super cute. Driving back, and then, there's another Jimny passing, and we do the Jimny wave. And then she started laughing. She's like, what was that? I was like,
The
"It's
Jimny wave.
Jimny wave.
Yeah.
It's like everyone that has a Jimny, like, will wave to each other.
Very similar to MX-5's things.
Yeah. And
Because they're similar spirits.
Yeah. It's like, you have that.
Correct.
I have that. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very awesome community. Like, everyone's super supportive. Not all the time, but generally as a whole,
Yeah.
super supportive. But
It's interesting, actually. I found that with the MX-5 too. When you did the wave, everyone would wave back.
yeah.
Unless they're like, there were some middle-aged women that drive them. And I think it's something to do with the fact that we've tapped into this secret that not everyone else is a part of. Because the MX-5, it was a lot of money for me at the time, definitely. But it's a cheap sports car. It cost me $38,000.
Yeah.
Which, compared to a Porsche, and and we all know we're actually having just as much fun as that Porsche driver.
Yeah.
Because on a rainy day, when you turn the traction control off in a car that weighs 950 kilos, it's really good fun. And you've tapped into this world where you have just as much fun as the guy in the $200,000 Patrol.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And, like, there's been times where we'll be out on the tracks and there was this really awesome hill that I'll have to, like put some photos up somewhere.
Yeah.
That insert hill
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
insert big
Have you got
ruts.
pictures? Can I Google it?
Oh, it's on my Instagram. I did a little video of it.
What's your Instagram handle?
EBB
Yep.
on a 2_ AU. And hopefully... Oh,
That's
eBay!
eBay has come up.
I am eBay. Love
The
maybe
the
write
mouse
Instagram.
is like not having it today.
Maybe just do Instagram. So while you're looking that up, I'll tell the
Yeah.
story. So there was we're on the tracks and there was this side track, unnamed track, and it was these big ruts going up this really steep section. And I'm in my little Jimny, and then my mates are in their cruiser, like 4-inch lift, 35s, beefy car. And we had to winch from the same spot.
Oh,
And it was awesome.
so it's the same thing.
And it was kind of
Yeah.
funny. I've used my winch a fair amount of times, but it's been recovering other vehicles. So this was like one of my first winching experiences. And it was a very
Scary.
precarious
Okay.
winching experience.
Have you
'cause
got
it was
pictures
pretty-
on there of that? How far
I've got
down
the video,
is
so
it?
scroll down a little bit. I haven't really been posting a
You're
whole
right.
lot. Oh, actually, no, go back up.
Oh, that's a nice photo, bottom left. The stars.
Oh, yeah, I didn't take that.
Ah, okay, still
Yeah.
nice.
It's, really awesome. Like, I have very talented friends. Like, full credit to my
Must
friends
be
that
nice.
take photos.
I
Because
don't.
yeah, so...
Sorry, Josh.
And then go reels.
Bear with me. Again, mouse cooked.
And then scroll down.
I've got to do this because the scroll on the mouse doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Bottom right?
You got it. That one. So this is, and it's muddy.
Forgot the
Muddy.
volumes.
And like
I've seen this
videos,
reel before. That's loud.
videos don't do it justice.
That
Like,
does look steep though.
It is
Yeah.
steep
You can tell by how the car's struggling that that's quite steep.
and muddy.
Yeah.
And that was like a rock slate that it was just,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, that's hectic.
it
That's
was,
mad.
and but like, yeah, even that photo, like the
Yeah.
angle was nuts. And that was
Absolutely.
my first time winching.
Is that the top of Mount Margaret?
No, that was, where was that? I can't remember which mountain actually.
Mount Museful is what it says.
Yeah,
In the
that would
hashtags?
be it. It was Mount
Kind of looks like. I suppose it's all high country.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of funny looking back. I'm like, which mountain with which road? But yeah, this is like.
I actually showed that video with the camera on you.
Oh.
So I'm going to
That's
play
a
that
damn
video
shame.
one
I
more
hope you-
time. What an absolute dipshit. So you can now watch the screen. I'm an idiot. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
Me
we
trying
were
to climb
saying that was... It is a lot steeper than it looks.
It's a lot steeper.
camera never does
and,
justice.
Like not so much traction. See, there is where there was no
Yeah.
traction because it was just pure slate and it was just slimy. And if I was to keep going, probably would have rolled.
Great.
So didn't really want to do that.
Yeah, big fun.
Yeah.
Do you like a good roll?
Yeah, I almost rolled another time.
Yeah?
So it's kind of funny to watch. I mean, it was like I was in this big
Also,
rut.
do you want a beer? It's 12:30. You're more than welcome to a beer.
Fuck yeah.
All right, I'll get you a beer.
All right.
Keep going though. Yeah.
All right. Maybe I go live on my
Yeah, sure.
because that way I don't actually have to. Oh, is that on? That's the TikTok.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
You're on TikTok.
Yeah.
All right. I've never done a live on Instagram before, so I'm
I can
gonna.
offer you this one, or I can offer you a Summersby. This one.
Yeah.
It's ice cold.
Do you have reception?
I might not, but if you can connect to the Wi-Fi. I've got Wi-Fi.
Okay. Do you have like elevator music to?
No, that's alright. No, it's one of those podcasts where it's fine. You'll be able to connect to the guest Wi-Fi. So if you
Okay,
have
guest Wi-Fi.
It's paid as Wi-Fi guest.
Paid as Wi-Fi guest. Paid as Wi-Fi guest. But at the moment, I'm running the show because he's not here anymore. So, hey guys, my name's Ebony. Welcome to my channel.
Just all that.
I've claimed ownership over the channel in your absence.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing better than a podcast that the host leaves and gets something from his car halfway through.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, you know, how long have we doing?
We've been going for 2 hours now. So the reality is, if someone's still watching at this point, they're pretty happy to have a 2-minute intermission.
Yeah, I
And
think
this
they
comes-
need a little bit of a break.
This comes back to the authenticity as well. Like,
Okay, I gotta move this somehow.
where are you gonna go? Do you want me to get your tripod for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you tripod. But it comes back to the authenticity of. No, you're all good.
How am I gonna?
Are you going portrait?
Actually, yeah, I might put it back over there.
Well, yeah, I'll do it for you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Or you can attach to this one if you desire.
Oh, yeah, just do that. Oh, that's nifty. You know what's a good sound?
There you go. Is it live?
I don't think it is.
There you go.
3, 2, 1. We're now live. That's unfortunate that it's just my face. Can you move? Can it be more of you as well, or is that moving it too much?
No, it's either me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's unfortunate.
We'll do you.
We'll just do me. That's fine.
Anyway.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Thank you to my
Mid bloody podcast drink break.
Yeah. Okay. This
Today's
is the best
podcast
sound.
is sponsored by The Sound of Carlton.
Are you ready for this? This is really bad.
It's ASMR.
Cracker. Yeah. Beer ASMR.
Cheers,
Also,
by the way.
I feel like I can see a couple of waves, but just full disclosure, I can't read that far
Yeah.
away.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers. Cheers. And cheers to everyone who's joining. Daz. Yes, please. I
Yeah.
can see Daz. I recognise you from this far. But yeah, if you're just joining now, sorry, as I just
Go.
take over your,
We're all good.
over your podcast. We are live and also live on Andy's
Everywhere.
channels.
Twitch, TikTok, YouTube,
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah. And
Yeah.
now on yours as
And
well.
now mine. Actually, I don't know if they can hear me. Can y'all hear me good? Can y'all hear me good? Let's see if anyone replies.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I need to get you to do something while I'm thinking of it. Can you sign the desk with that blue pen?
Yes.
And put your date on it as well. If
Okay.
you wouldn't mind.
The date. Oh,
Yeah.
What's the date today? All right.
I actually don't know what the date is. The 13th of January.
I looked at my watch, but I didn't register. 13th of Jan. Okay.
Yeah, so no,
What's
I'm off
everyone
the
else
drinks.
said?
I've been off the drinks for 13 days now, which is why I have Sprite handy all the time.
That's actually.
I feel clearer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
I
would.
feel infinitely clearer, which is good. So what's the next adventure booked in for you?
Okay. 13th. Did you say?
Yeah, it's the 13th of Jan.
I can only do one
2020.
task at a time.
2024. 13/1/2024.
2024.
Yeah.
So, the next adventure. All right. Well, I've actually got a couple of adventures planned.
Please.
So I love that I quit my job to be like me time, so keen to just chill, and now already the next 2 months is hectic.
Yep.
Like I'm like, this is wild. But I mean that's like personal like things, like a lot of my friends are getting married at the moment or and engaged, so that's like obviously have to be there for that. That's a whole weekend dedicated.
Yeah.
So I've got, wait, let me have a little sip.
Please.
I haven't even had a sip of this yet. Delicious. So I've got potentially two shoots coming up.
Yep.
With the Jimny.
Yeah, cool.
So one is still yet to be locked into place.
Yep.
But another one is a brand that I'll be working with. I'm not going to say who it is yet, but I'm really genuinely excited about this one. And so that'll be a little tutorial video of me doing an install of said product.
Yep.
Which I haven't really done that. I've done like little clips here and there, but this will be me just like pretty much like professionally shot, so like they can use it in their own marketing material.
And means you don't have to do it.
Yeah,
Someone else is doing it. You just focus on presenting.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty keen for
Producing sucks.
Yeah.
Producing's terrible.
Yeah. So I'm pretty keen for that. And then I'm just so excited because like I've just seen what they've done and it just all looks really good.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like a little bit excited because at the moment they're using other people and they were like, we want another face, but we want it to be your car. Because sometimes they'll like hire a car and then hire a talent as well. Whereas this, it'll just be like,
yeah,
it's just me and the Jimny.
Got you.
So yeah, and then another one is a shoot for another brand. It would be a product, and it's the same thing. It's like I'm just part of the shoot. Like I'm just here for the good times. So that I'm excited about.
That's
and
cool.
then I'm planning on doing a few week trips.
Yep.
So that'll be just me solo with my dog.
Yeah,
which I'm
cool.
excited about.
Yep.
And like depending on where I'll go in the high
filming it all?
country. Yeah, and that's the goal. Like my goal is to go out, just enjoy, be present, and then also be able to film as well.
That's a hard one. I've always really struggled because I've tried to film a couple of trips I've done now, and every time it takes over and I end up just putting the camera back in the bag and enjoying instead. So I'm curious to see how you pull that off. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just like very curious to hear how you pull that off.
Yeah, and it's something what I tried to structure the last trip we did was I made a very clear plan from the start. Because, like, my first video, I was just like, it was kind of like, I was just always doing the things and then didn't really switch off until I was like, now I literally put all the cameras away.
Yep.
But, well, like, I structured it. I was like, okay, if I get to a section where I see this really cool view, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to take out the cameras. I'm not going to try and capture absolutely every moment of this trip. I'm going to be really intentional on what I'm capturing. And set time aside and set a time limit as well. So I have like already started writing down. I'm like, okay, I want a wide shot for this. I want to send my drone up at this particular point. I want to do like maybe a little cooking tutorial.
Cool.
Not a tutorial because I'm no chef.
Cooking in the bush though.
But cooking in the bush, like
that's
it's
the best
something
bit
else.
of all the new Full Drive 24/7 videos.
Oh,
is
so
when
good.
Shauno and what's his face cook.
Yeah, I love it. And it's just like, I always love watching it. So I'm like, I want to incorporate that.
Agreed.
And it's always just, you think about like cooking, you think about, dinner time, and it's just this whole emotional experience. You're not just cooking a meal. You're just like connecting with people. I mean, obviously, if I'm going to be by myself, it'll be a bit different. But it'll be an opportunity to like, talk about things that are going on, even if it's just to the camera. So I think it's awesome, and it's cooking. So like I don't know, for me, it doesn't really always go as planned.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a journey.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
so and usually what I cook out in the bush is better than what I'm cooking at home.
Really?
Yeah, but I think it's like you get out there and you just have all this time. You're present. You're not in a rush. You don't have. Most of the time you don't have any reception.
Yeah.
So you have that time to like really put all, like, you don't have a choice.
Yep.
Like, what else are you going to do?
Correct. Yep.
There's no checking your phone.
No.
There's no FaceTiming.
Fucking love that the most.
I know. No FaceTiming Holly. I freaking love it to pieces.
Yeah.
But my sister. For
Yeah.
always playing at
Yeah.
home. Oh, there's people waving.
Hey.
Hey. So, yeah, it's a whole experience, and it's one of my favorite parts of getting out there is just completely switching off.
That's awesome.
Like, I like to say that I'm a people person, but I do like my own time.
Well, I've been introduced to this concept of ambiverts this week.
Ooh, what is
Yeah,
that?
So you've got introverts, extroverts, and ambiverts. Ambiverts are the middle.
Yep.
So I'm an extrovert because I
Really?
recharge
Yeah. No.
around people. So
Yeah.
I've signed myself up to, like, throughout the week I work big days. So I'll often work 7 to like 6:30 at night.
Yeah.
And then I come home and I work. Like, I'll quote up and I'll invoice for the day. So my whole day is like, and I'm working big days. So on the weekend I need to recharge. And the way I recharge, if I was inside sitting down watching TV right now, I'd put a fucking bullet in my brain. Absolutely. No questions asked. The way that I recharge is by sitting here and having this exact conversation.
Yeah.
Unpacking your brain, just talking about where you're going, working out what makes up the makeup of you. This is how I recharge.
Yeah,
I
totally.
am an extrovert, yeah? There are people who don't like to be alone, but don't recharge around people. They are ambiverts. And then you've got introverts, and it's like, my mum literally needs to be around people. And it needs to be on her own.
No, I love that listening to that podcast of
yeah.
your parents.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was so good, and I sent it to Mum as well. I was like,
Yeah,
Mum,
right.
Like, yeah, I sent it
Yep.
to Holly. I was like, it was such a good podcast.
Interesting.
Love
Interesting story, too.
Yeah,
hey?
it's so interesting, and I just love, because, like, there's not that many people that can openly, admittedly say, I don't like people.
Yeah. Yes.
And I love that.
She's not lying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know that, and
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you
it's
think
so
you're
true.
an ambivert or an extrovert or an introvert?
I would say probably an ambivert because first of all, I think there's like certain type of people that I click with, and
Yep.
if I click with, oh Jesus,
You're all
I
good.
just clicked with this mic.
Yeah, you're all good.
If I click with people, like it's like a house on fire.
Yep.
Like
I
it's
get you.
yeah.
Yep.
Whereas sometimes
It's
it's work. Like sometimes it's just like I'm having to work my brain to stay engaged.
So I love that. When I don't connect with someone, if they're boring, I'm a bit of a prick, and I'll enjoy the idea that it's awkward for them and it's not awkward for me. And I'll
Yeah,
give them nothing, but I won't leave. I'll stay and I'll just let them sit in it like a fart in an elevator. So I like that.
I can't do it.
I'm the devil.
Oh, yeah, good on you. I love that.
Thank you.
For me, it's
Yeah.
just like I try, I don't know what I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like sometimes like there are a lot of people that I'm around that I really am having to try. And like on the outside, I'm, very talkative if I want to be and whatnot. But then sometimes it's like I need to go home. Like when it's an experience that I'm like, I feel like I'm putting a lot of energy in, I need to go home and I need to just sit and listen to music.
I get that. Yep.
So if it's kind of like but I don't know. Everything's on a spectrum. I'd say I'm on that kind of spectrum of introvert and extrovert.
You're on the spectrum?
Yeah, well, that too as well. So I've been told.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, I'd say I'm on the spectrum. But yeah, I can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'd say it's different, and I think it's really. But there are times like, during COVID where I was just so drained.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed that, like, pick me up. Like, I needed to bounce off people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was why I was, like, working my 9 to 5 job, working from home. And then I would go and work at Target from, like, 6 p.m. till 10 p.m.
Yeah. Because you were getting energized.
Because that would energize
It
me.
wasn't necessarily about
Yeah.
cash.
No, I literally, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't the cash for me. Like, while it set me up, like, that work that I did then, and it was only, like, short term, that set me up that now I can quit my job.
For sure.
Like, I'm not built of money. I'm not going to
Yes.
say that. But,
Yeah.
I've got, like, my rainy day fund that if shit hits the fan,
Yeah.
I
You can take
go,
a risk.
Yeah, I can take a risk.
You can back
So,
yourself for a while.
yeah, and I think it was just, it was a win-win. It was like, one, I'm getting paid, and two, I'm talking shit doing a job that is, like, mind-numbing. Like,
Yep.
I'm just packing boxes for people that are, for some reason, ordering.
Yeah.
Everyone's just doing a home decor revamp over COVID and ordering all this stuff from Target. So, yeah, it was good. But, yeah, so I'd say it's, like, in between. And I think it's... And I also feel like when you're out camping, it is such... It's so risky going with new people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only ever been one time that I went camping and I hated it.
Yeah, right. Okay. Tell me.
And this wasn't the time. And this wasn't a time. I don't even know if anyone's watching, but
It's alright.
it doesn't matter. I know the person who I'm not gonna name names.
You're not going
obviously.
to out them.
I'm not gonna
Will
out
they
them.
work it out
but
from
I don't.
context?
Well, I don't think they follow me anymore.
Okay.
So it's
Well,
fine.
that's good then.
Yeah. So
Name them then.
yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
you
I'm
did it.
kidding. I'm
That's
kidding.
right, that's right.
Yeah,
So, and it wasn't even like we've done trips where it's just been like pissing down with rain the whole time,
Been there.
and like I literally was standing around the fire that's trying to go, and like with a rain jacket on. I'm just standing in the rain looking at the fire because there's nothing else to do. But I loved it. It was fine.
You enjoyed that.
I enjoyed it. I was like, while it was raining for 24 hours. Like
Could be worse.
for
You
2
could be
days.
in the office.
Yeah, I could. And I could
Yeah.
just be sitting at home.
Yep.
Like, yeah, whatever. No, this trip was, and I heard someone recently say something and was like, "Oh, I didn't like camping. They didn't like camping, but it was because of the person, not the place."
Yep.
And then they started going with good people, and they realized they loved it. So yeah, this is an example of it. It was cool. Like, I've met this person a couple of times, and then we did a camping trip. And the thing about camping, it's you spend 24, like over, like 48 hours with the same person
Yeah. It's a lot.
in the same confined space.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, like, what other industry or, like, what other hobby does that? I mean, there's probably multiple. But can you name one?
Nothing I've ever done.
Yeah. So it's like, it's,
Being in the military, maybe.
yeah.
That's probably it.
Is that, like,
But-
a hobby of yours, or?
No. No, it's not. No. Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, so it's this very niche thing that it's like all of a sudden you've committed your mental energy
We're here now. We're
to,
in.
Yeah, and like
This is
there's
it.
no going back. Like
No.
if you're driving 4 hours to whoop with no reception, I mean,
Yeah.
prayers that you stay safe, but
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
like you can't just be like, hey, look, this was really fun, but sorry, like this is me out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Like, there's no outing. Like, how
No.
are you gonna get home?
No.
You're not even in your own car.
No.
So,
Phew. Yep.
yeah, man, I wish I thought about that back then. But anyway, this trip, it was just, and this has been the only time that this has happened, where I just didn't click with them.
Yeah.
And it was just,
Was it obvious to them as well? Was it one-sided or two-sided?
I think it was one-sided.
Whoops.
Yeah. But I think that's where my downfall is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other topic.
Sure.
But it was, and I just felt, I was like, I can't appreciate this scenery because I just feel awkward. And it was good. It was lovely. Did one of the, went and saw some iconic tracks, but I just felt awkward and it just wasn't a vibe. And I just didn't enjoy it. But
Yep.
it's been the only camping trip. Like, you'd guess, didn't do another trip with them.
I bet.
It was the one and done.
Yeah, sounds that way.
Yeah, but it was like the only time that I hadn't enjoyed going out there and going into the bush.
Yep.
And it was just because I didn't click with that person.
Yep.
And that person, like, it was nothing against them. Absolutely nothing to do with their character. But it was it just wasn't gelling. So
Yep.
that was the only time that I didn't enjoy my camp trip.
And was it just you two?
Yeah.
Yeah, gee, that's grim.
Yeah.
I don't like going camping with just one person. I like going camping with a big group.
Yeah.
3 couples or 3 groups minimum, I reckon, for me.
Three, as in 3 couples?
Not necessarily, I've never done couples, but like, I mean, like,
Is there something else you're not...
yeah, I know, right? I'm a wife swapper.
Do you have that sign on the caravan?
No, I don't. I do put my keys in the bowl at the end of every night, though.
Oh, okay.
Nah, like 3 groups. Like when I was a kid, we'd always go away with 3 cars.
Yeah,
3 cars full of people. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something like we're trying to find the fine balance. Like we've done bigger groups and smaller groups, and I honestly, we only recently did a trip where it was just like me and my partner and our dog, and it was incredible.
That's
Because
good.
we'd always done trips with other couples.
Yeah.
And we only did one recently where it was just us, and it was like so refreshing. But there, I'm going to be honest, there is a time where we'll go with larger groups.
Yep.
And we'll be in separate cars. And apparently I get a little bit sassy.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Oh, right.
And like just going in separate cars. But I think, you know, in reflection, I think like I'm trying to be a lot more social, and like it just feels a lot like a lot more effort for me. And so I probably, you know, I will admit I do get a little bit snappy.
Sure.
Not bad. Like, I'm not saying I'm flawless,
Just
but I'm not
cutlery
saying...
getting thrown around the fucking campsite. That's all.
No, it's nothing to it.
Never
I
an
just
axe.
Set the car on
Never a
fire.
wood splitter.
No,
Yeah.
never.
Yeah.
No harm. No harm.
Ooh, camp
What?
pranks.
Camp prank.
Do you do camp pranks?
No, but I heard about a really great one.
Please.
Okay, well, yeah, I've heard it before, where people will, like, if people sleeping inside their canopy,
Yeah.
ratchet strap
Oh my.
the canopy closed.
Fuck off. Really?
Yeah, like, I've never been there to witness it.
Wow.
But yeah, how wild. And I think,
No,
like-
because you ran off and hid in the bush. You weren't there to witness it.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you fucking did it and left. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For legal reasons. No.
Yeah.
But I heard about some of my mates that like there was like a meet where this guy rocked up and he was a bit of like a show pony and was being a bit weird, and then they kind of joked about like doing that like while he slept. Anyway, apparently everyone went to bed and he left. Yeah.
Oh.
So I
Oh.
think yeah. So he took that quite literally.
I see.
They probably would have, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that one.
Yeah.
What other good pranks?
I've
are
got
there?
one.
Oh, okay, tell me.
Cable ties on the drive shaft. Have you ever heard of that one?
Yeah.
That's an old one. So for those of you that don't know what that means, the drive shaft is a pole that runs from the back of the gearbox into the transfer case and then down to the differential. But it's a pole that spins. It's like this pen. It spins, yeah, like that. And any time a car makes a noise that is out of the ordinary, the driver, especially if you full drive
Yeah.
the day before,
Yeah.
freaks out. So if you put a couple of cable ties on the drive shaft, as the drive shaft spins,
Shit, my car's broken.
it hits the chassis or the fuel tank or whatever it's butting up against, and all you hear is and you go, is that a misfire? Is it like, what's going on?
What have I done?
What have I done? Yeah.
How much is this going to cost?
Yeah. That's a good one. I like
Am
that
I
one.
going to be able to drive home?
It's also super low impact as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've stolen my mate's keys before and moved his car to a different campsite. I've done that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got
That's
really
a good
shit.
one.
He got really shit faced. We put him to bed, and his keys were sitting in the swag, so I just got the keys. The trick was we had to push it away so he didn't wake up.
Yeah.
So we put the ignition on. All of us pushed it down, and then we turned it on because he had a 3-inch exhaust, so
Oh, yeah.
he'd wake up.
Yeah.
So we did that and then parked it ages away and locked it, and we watched him stew for half an hour. And he freaked out, and then we went, oh yeah, we moved it to the other field last night. So that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's sort of it.
Yeah, well, one camp trip, we tried to lift the chimney. Yeah.
How'd you go?
Pick it up.
Yeah, how'd you go?
Well, it took 7 blokes.
And they did it.
And, well, lifted the front end.
Yeah.
So, next mission is to get, maybe, do we double it? Well, I think I have a
7,
video
14.
of it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's on TikTok.
Not on Instagram?
No, I didn't put it on Instagram.
We might not be able to get it up purely based on the mouse.
Oh.
Jimmy, wait. If you send it to me, that'll help me out, though.
Oh, okay, let me...
Yeah.
Oh, my phone's on.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's blokes lifting a car.
Yeah, anyway.
Well, yours probably weighs 1.9 tons. But it weighs 1.2 kilos. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely under
Your
GVM.
Honour.
Definitely under GVM
Your
for those
Honour.
playing at home.
Yep.
But it's so stupid. No, I'm not going to go into GVM. But yeah, we lifted it, and it was completely lifted the front end. But
Well,
I
that's the
think
heavy
we need
bit.
because it's got the bull bar and all that.
And the
so,
engine.
Yeah,
Engines weigh 350 kilos.
yeah, and the back of the chimney is just like air.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing there.
No.
There's no seat. Oh no, my seats are in, but like there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so maybe we need to double it and
Yep.
get 14 people.
Yep. You'd be able to lift it.
And then and it was funny the next morning, like there's a few people got a little tipsy turny, and then the next morning, like we went for a drive, like across the river to take the dog for a walk, and then one of my mates is like, "Oh my god, Ebony, did you guys lift and rotate the chimney last night?" And I was like, no. I was like, we drove it this morning, but we did lift the front end. But yeah, like they were just like, what? You guys did that? I was like, no, we just, we drove it around. I could have said yes, but that's the next goal.
Yep.
So yeah, let's see if we can lift a 1.4 ton chimney.
Yep.
No more than that at all.
That's good.
Yeah, so that would be fun. But what other pranks?
I've got nothing. I've got no other ideas.
Yeah,
That's all I've got.
I feel like there's... Yeah, I don't know. Unless you're like waking someone up with the exhaust in their tent. Or swag.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's not really a prank, that's just being
That's
a
future,
nuisance.
future cancer as well.
Yeah.
Pump the diesel straight in.
Delicious.
There's knocking all their tent pegs out. So they wake up and their tent's
yeah.
collapsed.
Oh, yeah, actually, no, there was a time that we did that.
Okay.
We took out, like, someone's obviously trying to sleep well in their swag, and we took out all the poles, took out all the pegs, so it just collapsed. But you know what the best part is? This family we camped next to us.
Oh.
These kids came into the camp.
Oh, and they started helping.
And they didn't start helping.
Oh, okay.
They just started jumping on the swag.
Oh my goodness. Oh no.
There's like
Oh, no.
videos of these,
Oh wow.
like this poor bloke's just, trying to have a little bit of a sleep in, or like, mosey on out of the swag, and then next minute, these 6-year-old kids are jumping onto his swag and just deflating the whole thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty funny to watch.
Yeah.
It was just chaos.
That's good.
But then they started like punching, and then the parents were like, "Okay, that's enough."
Yeah. No, that's.
It started getting violent. But that was another good one. But
have
wouldn't.
you?
What?
You go.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't encourage any kind of violence.
Speaking of
Why?
things,
Speaking of violence.
Speaking of things I don't encourage. When we were 18, we went to Lindenau for schoolies.
Where's that?
Lindenau's Bairnsdale.
Oh, Bairnsdale.
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 And we went there for a week. Every night, my mate Nick would say, "Can I throw your gas bottle on the fire?" To my mate Joel.
Yeah.
Every night, "Can I throw it on? Can I throw it on? Can I throw it on?" No. Anyway, the gas bottle's empty by the end of the trip, and Nick says, "Can I throw it on the fire?" So
I see where this is
Nick
going.
and Joel are both engineers now. They were big science heads, so
Science experiment.
yeah, literally science experiment. Anyway, Joel goes, "Fine, it's empty. Fine, whatever." So we all run 200 meters that way, going, this is going to be bad. Nick throws it on and runs away and where did we hide? I think we hid behind the shack that was, did you just get bitten?
No, I don't know what that was. It could have been my own hair, but sorry. Continue.
Nick runs away. We're hiding behind a shack, probably not 200 meters. That's ridiculous. It would have been 100 meters away, though. Anyway, we're sitting there waiting. I don't know, 5 minutes goes by. We're still waiting. And then, boom! It obliterated the fire. Literally obliterated the fire.
Did anything get burnt? Like, did
Well,
any... Oh.
funny you should ask.
Oh!
So we couldn't find the gas bottle. Okay. And then we saw it on the roof of Joel's car. It was just half of it. It was on the roof of Joel's car. I went, oh, okay. Joel's
I don't know
car.
if you can see my face, but this is a face of shock.
Joel's car was behind where we were. So it was further. So it flew over our head, is what that means. And we were like, not very well protected. We would literally, if this microphone is like, we would have been like. So we could have.
Oh.
Anyway, it starts raining, and we're like, we need to. There was we were camping on someone's farm, so there's also a shack,
okay.
and we were like, we're not going to use the shack.
Oh no! I think yes.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you came up for a day. Potentially.
I was
maybe
planning
not.
on it, but I don't know
Okay.
if I actually did.
Anyway,
Anyway,
that's neither
sorry,
here nor
yeah,
there.
blah, blah, blah.
That's
Yeah.
neither here nor there. No, you went to the other one. You went to Apollo
one.
Bay.
Yeah, Apollo Bay.
That's what you went to.
Yeah.
So we go in the shack, and we're like, well, if we're now in the shack, we'll watch a movie. So we put like Step Brothers on or something like that. We get halfway through Step Brothers. Do you smell that? What's that smell? Fucking shack's on fire. The other half of the gas bottle had leant up against one of the stumps and caught on fire. And we bloody burned a hole, like we burned a divot into the stump.
Did anything else? Was
Nothing,
it just the
no,
stump?
we just put it out.
Just the stump.
Just one stump. So
But it could have been a lot worse.
could have been really bad. We could have gone to bed in the shack, and it could have burnt down. Anyway,
So, lesson learnt. Maybe don't put gas bottles on the fire.
yeah, and when I say gas bottle, I don't mean because we'd thrown deodorant cans on the fire.
Yeah,
That's what you do. You throw a deodorant can on the fire.
No,
run
we
away.
don't encourage that. We don't put.
But that's pretty
But,
low
yeah,
impact.
That's
And when I say gas bottle, I don't mean barbecue gas bottle. I mean one of the little
little butane. Yes.
not butane.
Oh.
Like a LPG little gas bottle.
Oh.
Yep. Anyway,
Yeah, right.
So that was good fun.
Yeah.
That was really good fun. That's my don't do this at home camping story.
Yeah. No, that. I
Yep.
don't think I can top that.
Yep.
Have had some decent campfires though.
Mm.
And I think probably the best fire I ever had was when we went out. This was like pre-Jimny, and we went out camping. I think it was out Dargo Way, and then went for a drive upstream through the river. Dead tree, full dead tree. Winched the dead tree to the campsite, and this
Wow.
is through the river as well.
Wow.
But it was that decent, and it was like, took a while to get the chop it all up, but like the stumps were like
large.
this,
Yeah.
this.
Sure. Yeah.
Very thick.
Probably heavier than you.
Yeah.
Like,
probably.
absolutely.
Like there was like I think it was 3 of us girls were trying to move one stump.
That could be like 80 kilos.
Yeah, we were trying to move one stump, didn't budge
Yeah, right.
at all.
Yep.
Anyway, I had a few too many wines, so I
Sure.
don't really know how that happened. But yeah, it was it was
You
it
opened
was
your
wild.
mouth and poured wine into it.
Yeah, don't know what happened there.
Yeah. Sound like me on New Year's Day.
Yeah,
Don't know why I feel bad.
don't know why I
Don't
feel
know how
like
2
shit.
bottles of wine got inside of me.
Yeah, how that who put that
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Like the wine just jumped at me.
Correct.
Like anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the best because it was roaring. Like you would have to stand maybe 3 meters away from the fire, and you could feel the
Oh,
heat.
wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that was the best fire I've ever had.
Probably burned for a couple of days. Was it still going when you left?
No,
Okay.
because
You're responsible. That's
if it's
not what
cool
you-
to touch, it's cool to leave. Fire safety.
Gee, you couldn't say that on Epstein's Island.
I don't know how to recover from that.
Sorry, guys, on the
It's
live.
fine. I don't think anyone's watching, so it's okay.
Anyway,
Fire safety 101, kids.
everyone will remember that now. Everyone forever. Anyway,
Anyway.
no, that's cool.
It was still going in the morning, which was nice.
Yeah, no,
I
that's good.
love a morning campfire.
It's good, isn't it?
I've been, like, the past year, I've been making a point to wake up and get the fire started.
Yeah,
It's just so peaceful, and it's just so good. And then, like, you know,
I do that
even
too.
like heating up your water on the fire, there's just something so therapeutic
It is
about
nice,
it.
isn't it?
Right?
It's really nice.
Yeah, just being able to
I
be
often
like,
like to cook on the plate that I put over the fire.
Yeah.
Just 'cause it's like, it's nicer, yeah?
yeah, I just feel so grounded.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
a vibe. It's like I'm living in nature. I'm living with nature. Like,
Yeah.
it's completely it. And for okay, this is gonna take a turn, but for the extremists who are slashing four-wheel drive tires
What?
on the streets,
Really?
Yeah,
Is this a thing?
yeah.
Oh.
Extinction Rebellion. Oh.
What's
Yeah.
Extinction Rebellion?
Have you not seen all the? It's all the like environmental protests that block the streets. And
Fair enough.
yeah, and they started slashing all the tires of big four-wheel drives within the street. And here's my, well, first of all, damage of property
Absolutely.
illegal.
Dude,
so
my tyres were $2,500.
yeah,
For the Hilux, they're Kevlar muddies. They're $2,500.
I spent
How
two
dare
grand.
you?
I
How
spent
dare
2
you?
grand
Yeah.
on tire. That was the most expensive thing for the Jimny.
Yeah.
And they were slashing people's tires because they were like, big four-wheel drives equals bad for the environment. Kind of get where they're coming from. But at the end of the day, I'm like, hold on a damn second. People in this community, and I'm not everyone, there are totally people that ruin it. We respect the bush, and because we go out there to enjoy it. And we want to keep enjoying it. How are we going to do that? How are we not going to get tracks shut down? By respecting it.
I don't come after people wearing Crocs and eating avocado and tofu either. I leave them alone. Fuck off. Save the environment your own way. Leave my tyres alone. And for the record, electric cars are worse for the environment than diesel cars. Someone did an ecological review of a Toyota Prius and the impact that it has on the environment due to the nickel mining. And nickel is found in all these batteries. And over the lifespan of a car, over 30 years, they found that a electric car was worse for the environment than a diesel Land Rover Discovery. So, if you really want to save the environment, go and slash all the Tesla tires.
Yeah. And the thing is, this was like that completely valid. Where I was coming from.
You
I was like,
hippie virtue-seeking fucks.
don't even get me
Sorry.
started.
I felt like I was a bit tame. I was like, nah, I want a real full stop on this.
Don't even get me started on virtue signalers. But my perspective is this isn't even to do with the cars. This is to do with the simple action of going out for a weekend out in the bush. Okay, let's look at two people's itinerary for the weekend side by side.
Yep.
Me, going into the bush with my weeny little four-wheel drive that is lots of fun and very, I wouldn't say fuel efficient, but, you know, adequate.
Sure.
What am I doing? Okay, contributing to fuel. Yeah, okay, cool. What else am I doing? Am I using any electricity?
No. 0.
Am I using any... Okay, say I'm just camp cooking. Am I using any gas?
No.
Am I using any, like, internet services?
No.
Am I, using... Yeah, I could go on.
Whereas
but you see
Tiffany in South Melbourne, who's out there slashing four-wheel drive tyres, what did she do on Saturday? Well, she started off by, let's say she didn't drive her car to the coffee shop, but she rode her bike to the coffee shop. She rode her bike to the coffee shop, probably hit a bunch of snails, bitch. She got a coffee that came in a cup that was probably made by slave labour. And made by people not getting paid the appropriate amount of money. Like if you work in hospitality, you're probably subject to wage theft.
Yeah.
I've had someone on, we talked about this before. And then she spent the entire rest of the day saving the world on an iPhone made by slave labour that has nickel in it. To
But
your
also-
point.
And then you know what she had to do after that? She had to wash her clothes because she sweated. There was a lot of sweat and tears going into that. Okay, let's check on the washing machine.
Absolutely.
Oh, you know what? We're going to check on the dryer.
Yeah.
You know what I did the other day? I was like, I get water from the creek. I feel like a bit of a peasant.
Yep.
But it's
stomped in a bucket.
yeah, part of me feels like a little bit on the peasant side, but
Sure.
part of me feels like, I'm going back to nature. But get the river water, heat it up, or, do the dishes that way.
Yep.
Well, you know what else I'm doing? Just going for a swim.
Yep.
Nature's bath.
Absolutely. Yep.
And there's different like soaps and
Yep.
what you can get that are like environmentally safe for the rivers. So I'm not telling you to go and use your
Pantene.
your 5-in-1 shampoo, soap, conditioner in the creek. I definitely don't think that is
Sure.
not good. But that's water. You
Yep.
can use that. There's lots of it. And doing the dishes, and I washed my clothes just in a bucket.
Yep. Yep.
Like that was how I washed my clothes.
Yeah. Well, people are out of touch. They don't actually understand. And, like, to both our point earlier, it's just all virtue signalling. Besides, they're not protesting that at the moment. They're busy protesting Palestine thing going on. Because they just live to have a cause. They don't live to make a change. They live to have a cause, and that's how they get their validation.
Yeah. I don't want to go into this conversation.
Go on.
No. It's I have a lot of people in my life that are on both sides.
Of the Palestine
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have my opinion, but I don't want to say it.
Sure, don't. That's
Because
fine.
I would rather talk about things that I'm in.
I'm not an expert on it. That's
Yeah.
why I would never say my perspective on it. Because I don't have one. I employ a Jewish girl, and she seems quite upset by the whole thing. That's quite impacting. And I know she's being harassed. She was at the station the other day, and she told me a story about how someone was on their way to the Free Palestine March. And they said, oh, you should come to the Free Palestine March. She's at the train station. She's like, I'm Jewish, I'm not coming. Like, that's not what I'm going to be doing now. And she literally was accosted by this woman and followed and harassed.
I don't think
That's not nice.
Yeah, no.
That's not
no
nice.
matter what
Yeah.
no matter what side you are on, it is so not appropriate to attack people.
0 out of 10.
It is so not appropriate. That's all I have to say. And I know people on both sides. I continue to respect, and yeah, it's just not okay.
Yeah.
It's not okay to harass people. Like that's just a fact on fact. Like anyway. But
Unless I see you slashing my tyres. then
unless you
fuck, I'm
start
coming for you.
slashing, then pay up.
Yeah.
Pay me
I'm
the money.
coming for you. I'm going to take your Crocs and drown you with them.
I'm not gonna lie.
You like Crocs? That's fine. I'm fine with Crocs. I'm not anti-Croc. I
No,
just
it's-
find I'm anti those people, and they're always in Croc. They're pro-Croc.
Pro croc.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I am now a pro crocker.
Okay.
Is that what you would call it?
Why not?
I never had Crocs as a kid. I'm sorry if this is boring for anyone, but I freaking
Sure.
love my Crocs.
Yep.
And we always had the cheap like ones, and they'd always give you blisters. Did you ever have them growing up?
No, so I've never had a pair in my life, and I probably won't
okay.
ever get a pair. Mind you, I said that about Birkenstocks, and I now have a pair of Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was. I thought it was just one item. I didn't
One
realize there
item.
was cheap and not
Yeah,
cheap.
you can get like $5 Crocs, but then obviously
Really?
not Crocs.
I thought they were all $5 Crocs.
And Anyway, I got them because they're just so good. They're my water shoes. I look like a child.
Are they comfortable?
Yeah, they're good.
Okay.
But not for long walks.
Because
But
I don't like thongs.
No,
but
no,
I like
no.
Birkenstocks because I could wear them all day.
Yeah, yeah. When I pack. This is what I pack when I go camping. I pack
Thanks, Tiffany.
three shoes, my Crocs.
3 shoes. You got 2 feet though.
Yeah. One's in case I lose the other. In
One's a
mud.
universal shoe.
One is yeah.
Yeah.
No, but then which shoe would I bring if I only brought
Left
3?
or right. Yeah. Could have a middle shoe. A
Anyway.
really big shoe.
Is there such thing as a universal one? Anyway.
I'm sure Kanye's working on it.
So I bring my Crocs, I bring my Birks, and I bring my boots.
Yep.
And that's just the
That's
best.
it.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Fair
it.
enough too. I like Ugg boots while I'm camping.
Ooh, but
Around the campfire.
yeah,
At night.
I would be scared to set fire to them because I have burnt two pairs of boots before.
Yeah.
Have been
I've done that too.
burnt,
Yeah.
melted.
I just wear cheap Ugg boots camping though.
Yeah.
Not
no,
Ugg
that's-
branded.
Okay.
Yeah, like the $10 ones at Kmart. I usually buy a new pair every trip. And I throw them on the fire at the end. I mean, I don't because that's...
Yep. Okay. Well. Oh no. I was
There's
gonna
plastic
say
in them, so it's probably not
no.
the right thing to
Don't
do.
put plastic on
I
fire.
never burn plastic. Ever.
Yeah, it's so. Okay, I don't
I
know
do.
if you're serious.
We've got a... Around our
Okay.
campsite, we've got a little saying. It's everything burns.
Oh
Everything
yeah,
does.
I was gonna ask. I was like, what's the strangest thing you've put in a fire? But also, I'm like,
Gas bottle.
well, yeah, gas bottle. I've heard people put. Okay, this is not encouraging anyone to put anything on the fire, but I've heard people like put whole ass camp chairs in the campfire.
Oh, well, if you finished with it...
Like, and someone. I feel like I heard one the other day. Did someone put a whole swag in the fire or something?
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know.
Well,
But
if you're going to put a camp chair on, a swag's just a big camp chair. It's just canvas and poles. Once you're over the Maginot line, just keep going. Fuck it, throw the car in the fire.
no, but I hate rocking up to camp when there's rubbish everywhere.
Ah, that sucks. That's not
That
appropriate.
is
Clean up after yourself.
Like, clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's not a matter of save the turtles. It's, one, it's just disgusting. Like, I've always had this sense of guilt. Like, if something starts flying away, I was like, oh shit, I need to go
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
Because it just can't land up. Like, I mean, everything ends up in landfill. But you got to keep it out of the environment.
Yep.
Because it's just going to be shit.
Even just for like, have some respect for the next person coming.
Yeah.
Like they're coming out to have a nice holiday, and you're just like, here's half a slab's worth of cans.
It's respect for the land. It's actually, yeah, this goes back to like what we used to teach in outdoor ed. It's have respect for the land, have respect for people, and have respect for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, think about the land. Okay, we don't want to litter it because we want to maintain it. And we don't want to ruin it. Like, we're already ruining it. But we don't want to... We want to still be able to visit these places. Like, I would love to eventually raise a child and be able to take this child out and camp. And if we just treat it like shit, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, already across Australia, all these different... I don't know what someone typed, but anyway. Sorry. But it's like, if there's already... Like, Victoria, we are so freaking lucky with our campsite facilities, with our tracks.
They're great, aren't they?
They're so good. And it's why everyone loves coming down to the high country. One,
Yep.
because it's insane views. Like, you don't get that. But also, you have so much accessibility in terms of free camps and well-maintained camps. And a lot of that, especially I'm hearing in New South Wales and Queensland, a lot of tracks are closing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, that sometimes it is people that are absolutely ruining it. Unfortunately, they're ruining it for the rest of us. But,
yeah.
It's just so important that we keep maintaining so we can keep doing what we love.
Agreed.
So, and even like in Victoria, like one of the areas, I haven't done too much research into it, but from what I've heard, is they're trying to make this particular place into a parks instead of like a state forest. It'll be parks.
Sure.
So that means there's a lot more limitations.
Yeah.
We won't be able to bring the dog.
Yep.
We won't be able to do certain things. There'll be
Yep.
allocated camps and all this stuff. So even that, I feel like there's a sense of urgency as
Yeah.
well in terms of what I'm doing now. I feel this sense of urgency because it's like, we're not going to, like, by the rate that things are going, we're not going to have access to these places.
It's interesting. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of like, I'm going to do everything in my power to, one, help protect it. If you rock up to camp and there's rubbish everywhere, pick it up.
Yeah.
Like, do one for the team and pick it up.
Yeah.
And two, I'm just going to go and enjoy it for what it's meant to be used.
Mm.
Like, we're not obviously built to sit in an office all day.
No.
We're built to be outside, like, full stop. Like, we're not designed for that. So part of me is like, I want to make sure take advantage of this opportunity while we can, because part of me is just scared that it's not going to last forever. And that's like, it's kind of a bit sad.
It is a bit sad.
It's very sad to think about it, but honestly, that's what goes through my head. So
I get it.
what do you think?
What do I think about shutting campgrounds?
Well, yeah. What, do you think there is a sense of urgency, or do you think
Never
like,
thought about it.
Oh yeah, no, that's also.
I would say yes, based on what you've just told me. I'd say there is a sense of urgency. I'm trying to work out whether it's too far gone. Like, trying to put myself in the mind's eye of
yeah.
the parks people. Are they like, people are just going to fuck this up? We need to shut these. We need to do it slowly. And they've already made up their mind and they're already heading that direction. Or is it fixable? That's what I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, there's this really awesome guy. I think he's based in New South Wales.
Yep.
I believe he's. You know me with the names. I'm not so good at that.
Old mate.
Old mate.
Yep.
Old mate is advocating for the environment, but also advocating for people like us that want to go and enjoy it.
Yep.
And he puts really awesome stuff together, but also he advocates for Indigenous communities as well.
Okay.
Which is like he puts everything into perspective.
Okay.
And he's advocating some really awesome stuff. And I think it's Back to the Bush. Back to something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
He, I would say, is the one person I can think of that is advocating for the good cause of us
Okay.
and the original landowners. If you want an actual good resource that's just not me blabbering on, that is someone I would look to, because he does the hard yards, he does the research, he talks to people.
Yep.
He's not some Herald Sun going out and
Sure.
making this article on something that's not getting the whole picture.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, there is definitely people out there that are trying to advocate
That's cool.
for this kind of freedom of being able to go out and do what we love. But, yeah, I mean, it is a bit, like, daunting to think about, but it actually is the reality, and a lot of people don't think about that.
Interesting.
And, like, even, like, you take, have you ever been to, like, Robe Beachport?
No.
No? It's really good.
Where's that?
South Australia.
Okay. Never been to South Australia.
Yeah. Like sand driving. It's like a lot of people will go there and like you get these big groups of like young drivers that just end up trashing the place and leaving it. And yeah.
Damn.
But there are cleanups that go around. But,
Yep.
you know, you have to go through this little small town. Like, it's kind of scary. This kind of like sketchy little like beach coastal town to get to like the actual beach driving section, and it's, you know, you are kind of going through their little hometown, so it's kind of like, I think they're thinking of doing a bypass. Look, you know, take this all with a grain of salt. I'm no expert, but this is from what I've heard from the people that live there, is that they're going to try and figure out a bypass.
Okay.
Because they're like, we have all these people stopping at the gate, airing down, it's disruptive, like this is our place.
Just
and
bogans. Yeah.
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 I feel like, I don't know if this is this is a totally different tangent,
Yeah.
but I feel like there's like I'm not bogan. I wouldn't say I'm bogan, but I'm kind of like a sophisticated bogan.
Sure.
Maybe, I don't know. Middle class bogan.
Upper middle.
Maybe not upper middle. Maybe just middle class bogan.
Middle bogan.
Middle class bogan.
And MB.
Yeah, but if I need to turn professional, I can like
Sure.
flick a light switch.
Yeah.
I will be professional.
Mm.
But still have my personality.
Yeah. I don't think you're a bogan.
Okay, thanks.
You haven't had a durry yet. There's an ashtray there.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm alright. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not that many cans, Steve.
Yes.
No,
But
but
if you'd had a cigarette, I'd go, oh, yeah, cool. Nice. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. It's actually
No.
not. Now it's 1 o'clock.
okay. So
Yeah.
have you ever Okay, this is a whole nother tangent again. The show You Can't Ask That.
No.
It's so good. And they did this episode of You Can't Ask That, but to bogans.
Oh.
And it's awesome. And it's probably one of my favorite episodes. One, because I freaking love the people.
Yep.
And it was actually really interesting, like, you know, the other people, because the whole thing of the show is they get people from all different perspectives, and you kind of get this real sense of like community. Like, while I'm sure every community has its problems, like you do get this sense of like there's no judgment.
Yeah.
They're real.
Yeah.
They're not trying to impress anyone.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a mansion in Turak, and they're not flaunting and being like, my business made this much money last week.
Yeah.
You know, they'd be like, fuck yeah, when's the next part? Yeah, you know, when's the next part? I mean, like everything has its issues. But like for me, meeting people that are really just out in the bush and whatnot, and everyone's real. Like, you don't get that in the city.
No.
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 And
You can do, but it's not a rule.
Yeah.
There's a lot less authenticity in the city.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is this great conflict between like city people and like country people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not going to go into that.
Yep.
Like, I'm technically a city girl, but that's fine. But, you know, I spend a lot of my time doing what I love out there, and I'd rather, at the end of the day, I would rather be out hanging out with my mates that have grown up in that kind of direction rather than, I don't think
St Kilda.
Yeah. I personally don't think I have a close friend that lives in the CBD,
Me
for
either.
example.
Yep.
You know. But, yeah, that's...
I get ya.
It's interesting, the dynamic, but... Yeah, there's just like too many avenues to go into. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
Do you reckon we've touched on everything? We've been going for 3 hours
Yeah,
now.
that is wild.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you
I
reckon we've
reckon.
touched on it?
I
reckon
think
we've touched
so,
on everything.
yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Oh, we're starting again.
Nah.
And now welcome for another 3
I know,
hours of Ebony and Andrew talking about a whole lot of shit.
Dear. Thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks
It's been
for
really
having
fun.
me.
It's been fun. It's been good. I haven't done a really long one like this in a while, so it's fun to do long
Yeah.
ones. It's actually just a touch too loud. That's a bit better. And then I can have some control here. Yeah, cool. Is there anything you'd like to plug? As in your YouTube?
My YouTube? Well, if you go onto EBB_AU on YouTube or Instagram
Is it
or
underscore
TikTok.
or underscore?
Well, YouTube's just one underscore. But if you just write in EBBAU on any of the channels, you'll find me there if you're interested in watching my little journey.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I like that. And anything else you'd like to plug?
No, that's
Where can so that's where the people can find you. YouTube is where you want people to check you out.
YouTube and Instagram
Yeah,
and
cool.
TikTok.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Oh, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. We're done. We're finished.
That's a wrap.
It has been 3 hours and 4 minutes of a podcast. Episode 21? Yeah, episode 21. Which is cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's really, really cool. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. And enjoy. Peace.
Bye.
That was cool. That was a long one. It was good though.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
That was so much fun.
It's really good. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah. until I started doing it. It's good, and you can, once you get in a flow as well,